You're listening to the Wolverine and the Warthog, Chronicles of the Wild podcast. Two hunters from opposite ends of the earth, united by instinct, driven by the wild. These are our stories. Welcome back, guys, to the Wolverine and the Warthog. We are coming at you again from Trader's Rendezvous with a very special guest today, Seth Withrow. Thanks for coming on, Seth.
Yeah, no problem.
It's going to be awesome.
Invite.
Had to pry him off the lake.
Yeah, I know. He's out there. He's got fish slime all over him still. But yeah, we been wanting to bring Seth on for a while, and just to give some reference to who Seth is, a couple podcasts ago, I was talking about a crazy guy that sleeps with the meat of his animals in the vestibule of his tent in Alaska. That would be Seth Withrow right here. So, so we. Seth has a very, very interesting story, and we're not going to be able to cover it all in this one podcast, although we would very much like to. But let's just start out. I met Seth when I was in about third grade, which is crazy now to look back.
No, you're one of the guys that makes me feel old.
Yeah,
I met him when he was in elementary.
Yeah, exactly. Now I'm graying and losing hair. So, Seth, tell us how'd you arrive in Gunnison?
Came to Gunnison in 2004. Go to college. Kind of was paying for college on my own. Wanted to stay in state, and they'd let me walk on the wrestling team here at Western.
Awesome.
So where'd you grow up? What was your?
Grew up a little town, Wetmore. It's south of Florence, kind of west of Pueblo.
Okay.
So one street, little mountain town.
Okay.
Went to school in Florence.
Okay.
So it's not like plains out there. It's kind of.
No, you're right at the base of the Wet Mountains.
Okay. Yeah, I gotcha.
You're basically right in the middle of Westcliff and Pueblo. You're right before it drops off into the plains.
Gotcha. Okay. Sweet.
Cool. That's a cool area. Actually, It's kind of unique.
Do you still have family there?
Yeah, my parents still live there.
Go back there fairly often?
Not a ton. Pretty busy here.
Yeah.
I did. Last week got to sneak over there. We're doing some guiding on Pueblo now, so
sweet.
They're like 20 minutes from Pueblo Reservoir.
That's awesome. Okay, well that brings us into this. So you can tell by his sweatshirt and his hat and the fish slime all over him that one of the many things that Seth does is a fish guide. You own Sportfish Colorado. You've been guiding fish for a long time, but own Sportfish for what, 5 years now?
I think 5 years now, or something like that.
Cool.
I think I started working with Robbie in 2012.
Okay.
Something like that.
Cool.
2011, 2012.
And you guys, you do it all. You target everything. Obviously, probably your number one is lake trout fishing for bringing clients in.
We're all lake trout addicts for sure.
Yeah.
Business-wise, you make a living off of kokanee salmon, trout, that kind of stuff. But we do a lot of lake trout fishing for sure.
Yeah.
Is it? Are you guys doing some rivers as well?
Yeah. With kind of the other business, I do more of the river stuff with Alpine Outfitters. Alpine Outfitters is fishing as well.
Yeah. Okay. So you do that through that side of things.
River fishing and big game hunting.
When
does some lake stuff too, just in the Gunnison Valley.
Oh, you do through those. Okay, through that.
Alpine Outfitters does some Blue Mesa stuff, San Cristobal, and then we have a lot of river permits for fly fishing and whatnot.
Yeah, and then for those that don't know, that Alpine Outfitters is your outfitting hunting guide service.
Yep. And
you're based primarily south of Gunnison for most of that. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Kind of goofy having two fishing kind of semi-competing fishing companies, but
really. It actually makes sense.
Yeah, I just wanted to keep them separate and not merge for future whatever reason.
Yeah, totally.
Because so you do Pueblo, La Mesa, San Cristobal, Antero,
Taylor, 11 Mile, Spinney, Williams Fork, Tarryall.
Dang.
McPhee.
I was gonna say, is McPhee the one down by Dolores?
Yep, in Dolores.
Yeah.
That's all. We do about 10 or 11 lakes.
10 or 11 lakes, and then
The
like the
state.
main rivers here.
Yep. Gunnison, Lake Fork, and then a variety of smaller streams. I got some high Alpine Lake stuff too for more
Sweet.
adventurous stuff.
Yeah. Which is that is exactly what Seth is good at, is the adventurous backpacking stuff. Like, I call it type 2 fun. But it's like the most fun for Seth, you know.
What got you into the guiding? When did you start doing that? And walk us through kind of where you started and then how you ended up here.
Yeah, it's interesting, and never really thought it would happen, I guess. But kind of my goal going into college, I got a teaching degree. Very much loved fishing and hunting, but kind of the goal I had in mind was someday be able to open up a fly shop in the summers.
Okay.
When I had summers off from teaching was kind of what I always wanted to do. And then life happens and kind of take what comes to you and whatever. But worked a variety construction type jobs out of college.
Okay.
Started a drywall business in college. Kind of got married in college, so it was kind of like just get to work,
Yeah.
right off the bat.
Yeah, totally.
So several years into that, and then met Robbie, founder of Sportfish, Colorado, one of my best friends. We met Bible study here in town, and he was starting up Sportfish, and I think his second year in business, he started needing some help and asked. I was kind of in between, had quit a job and was kind of just doing my own thing, floating around, and he asked if I was interested in helping.
You had a gap, so you actually started guiding the fishing before the hunting.
Yeah, I had been doing a little bit of fly fishing guiding on the side, nothing like even remotely full time, but
Taking some trips here and there. And
yeah, did a few for Dan's Fly Shop up in Lake City. He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah. Okay.
But you grew up
And
hunting and fishing.
Grew up hunting and fishing. My dad is a very avid fly fisherman. He probably got into it when I was about 8 years old, so I naturally got into that as well. He hunted, got us into hunting. Very much more on the just meat side of hunting.
Yeah.
I think my dad has shot one bull in his life, more cows than I could count, a couple bucks, but it was always meat on the table.
Yeah.
We definitely were not wealthy growing up in any means. I mean, it was very much meat on the table. We used it, we ate it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I got into hunting. He definitely made it a point to get us into hunting. We were also very much into sports, though. Ton of sports growing up.
You have some siblings growing up?
Yep, younger sister, older brother.
Okay.
Both incredible athletes.
Okay.
Is he a wrestler too, your brother?
Yep, he wrestled. Football is probably his main thing. He had about every accolade you could get in football at high school level.
Could you take him in a wrestling match right now?
I probably could.
Yeah, you think you got
He
it now?
stopped wrestling me my freshman year. He was a senior my freshman year.
Yeah, yeah.
We were pretty well same size by then.
Yeah. I know. I got an older brother, so I just got to know who's gonna win the wrestling match. Very important, you know.
He never got into the hunting stuff really.
Really.
I definitely got into that. He's still way into sports and things.
Yeah.
I kind of after college, I drifted out of the sports realm, I guess. But.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of like mid-college for me. Really started diving into the hunting world as opposed. I mean, I still love sports.
Yeah, unless you've got local club sports or something, then outside of that, once hunting takes over, it's kind of tricky to.
Yeah.
Our hunting time growing up was very limited, anyways, because football took priority. We'd get a weekend here and there, and just go shoot a doe, or we did some antelope hunting.
Yeah. I mean, it was so hard. I remember playing a 7 o'clock game in Aspen, getting back at 2-3 in the morning, waking up at 4:30 or 5 to go out hunting, and it's like, yeah, we weren't putting in a lot of effort when you're on 2 hours of sleep for sure, but still made it a priority to get out.
I ended up playing 4 sports in high school, so that limited to. So I do cross country and football at the same time. So my Saturdays were shot because I'd go run on Saturdays, and so I didn't do a lot of hunting once I got into doing all that.
Yeah. Well, what was your kind of hook moment for hunting? Like, that's what we've been kind of asking everybody. Can you remember a certain moment where you're like, this is what I want to do?
I always loved it. Probably my first hunting memories is turkey hunting with my dad. Like,
Okay.
Let's go out, fall asleep in the cold, wake up, and there'd be turkeys in front of us or something. You know, he definitely got me out doing that stuff. Always really loved it. But once I got to college here, probably talk about him a little later. But met Jonah Stewart in college. We're both on the wrestling team.
Right.
He was like,
that's how that connection started.
just an incredible wealth of hunting knowledge at 19 years old. I mean, he knew more about hunting than any adult I knew at the time, you know. Got into that. He kind of fueled my hunting fire some that way. Ended up getting my first bull elk here in the Gunnison Valley in college. Kind of a crazy story on that one too.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, I didn't know what the heck I was doing at that point, but it was 4th season bull tag, north part of the valley here. But I've always gravitated towards like the nastiest country, and it's just how I'm wired, I guess. So I'm up, 4th season, knee-deep snow and these cliffs and stuff. And it's the last evening of the season. I pretty much thought I, wasn't going to fill the tag.
Yeah.
It's like about 15, 20 minutes of light left.
Yeah.
I'm like on the top of this gnarly ridge in the cliffs, and was actually just eating a snack and like look over my shoulder, and this whole herd had fed out. I mean, I didn't do anything. They just happened to walk where I was. There was like zero hunting skill involved, but ended up shooting this bull. And then it's dark and it's cold and freezing and whatever, and I mean, I was like crawling in these cliffs and lion tracks everywhere, and I'm by myself, solo, engaged at the time, and I don't even think I had a cell phone then.
Yeah,
if
nothing,
and like, man,
raw dog.
I'm like a long ways away, and I better get back, or Amy's gonna start stressing out a little bit. And so I mean, it's in the teens already, so I'm not real worried about the meat and stuff at that point, and it's gonna be fine. But get out of there, and I don't know if you guys have been followed by a mountain lion or known that you have, but you kind of just know when you are.
Yeah.
I don't know how you explain it, but
like
I knew I was getting followed by a cat. I never saw the thing, but I'm singing and I'm just headlamp pointed backwards as I'm hiking, and I'd never been to this area before. I keep getting cliffed out. Like I start down and I get cliffed out, and I got to climb up and
take another angle.
So then you're kind of like not panicking, but there's some
not in a good situation.
There's some urgency, and I'm like pretty new to the game, And anyways, get out of there, and I think I got home at like 1 a.m. or something, and I'm still pumped. I just shot my first bull elk. I don't even know if it's big, small. I
didn't
shot
matter.
My first bull elk. And so naturally, I tell Jonah, like, hey man, I got a bull elk, and he was living with a bunch of guys that like to hike and hunt. So one of them had no classes the next day, so he was going to come help me pack out. And I mean, no GPS or anything. So we go up to find this elk, and of course everything looks different. We took a different drainage up, and we walked within like 300 yards of this bull first thing in the morning. But I didn't recognize the spot because I was across the bowl. I was on the opposite side. And I was like, this isn't it, So we hiked half the day, like 12 miles. Finally circle back, and now we're like leaving, and we're on the right side of the bowl. I'm like, oh, he's right over there.
Oh my gosh.
So it just turned into this ordeal. But when we were hiking back in that morning, like there was cat tracks in every single one of my footprints until I got to the truck.
No kidding.
Yeah. I never saw the thing. I just knew it.
You
had
knew
to
it.
be
I
there,
know. That is such a weird
when
feeling.
you go back in the morning, you're like, it was there. Like,
I'm not crazy.
I'm not crazy. It was there.
Yeah, I know. I remember having that same feeling, and had one that went 10 feet behind us, never heard it. And it was me and a client that I had. And when we got on the horses to ride out, there's just cat tracks like right in all the way behind us, and I was like, I knew it. Like I was feeling something weird going on back there.
It's a funny one. We've had a couple of leopards follow us before, and yeah, for sure, it's kind of funny because at first you get that sense, and you're like, what the, you check back, and I was in this remote, dry, like big sandy riverbed in Namibia. And my buddy looks back with a headlamp. He's like, they're there, see it, these light, the eyes. And I was thinking like, come on, man, you're just freaking out, And then you like walk a little bit more, but there's like you walk a little quicker and a little closer together and then check again. And then pretty soon you're like jogging.
Yeah, but by yourself, that's a different experience for first bowl too.
I had like no experience at that point.
I mean, that's a big experience. Even cutting it up the next day once it's stiff.
But you found it. You're finding it at like the end of the next day, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you still got to pack that thing out in the dark,
and
even
now
though it's a day later.
It's froze solid, and we're dealing with all that, and packing it out in the dark again, and it was a cool experience for sure. Big learning curve.
We were just talking about that the other day about rifle hunting, like 3rd and 4th seasons here in some conditions. It's not fun.
It is gnarly.
Not fun.
Yeah, I mean, if you're willing to put in the work, like you can drive around in a heated truck, but you're probably not going to kill
hiking
anything.
and that kind of, I mean, it can be frigid, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you could
just a little breeze too at that point. Like you said, it's in the teens with a little breeze, and it is. Was Jonah pumped for you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What about your buddy?
Those were the days though too, like totally unprepared. Like
Yeah.
I don't even think I had a day pack.
Yeah, I was gonna say like just Walmart.
Had a can of peaches in my pocket, and like
it's amazing.
There's so much more. There's so much more stuff that goes into it these days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's funny.
So that was kind of like, I mean, we'll just say that was kind of like
that was probably my hook. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I want to do more of this.
Yeah. And you kind of had, I mean, a resource in Jonah to kind of push you, because that's kind of where I feel like my buddies that like to hunt in college specifically are kind of the ones that like pushed me to the next level,
We kind of fell, I got married in college, and then me and Jonah both stopped wrestling, and he was all over the tarnation, hunting everywhere.
Yeah.
We kind of fell out of touch for a bit, but got to be good friends with like Taylor, Hefner, Robbie, Firestone, those guys, and just kind of got more into hunting here with them.
Yeah, he's got a crew of killers around him for sure, and that's what you want. Do you want to? So Jonah owns Jonah's Alaskan Outfitters, which you've been guiding for Jonah now that you went to college with for how many years?
It's got to be pushing like 12 or 13 now.
Dall,
like that.
Moose.
11. I always base how many years I've been working for Jonah on how many caribou racks I have at home.
That's funny. Always find a way to get
around 12 or 13. Going on 12 or 13 years now.
Yeah, that's a good way to count it. Yeah,
So,
that definitely helps.
The years just kind of fly by.
Yeah, but you're guiding for Dall sheep, brown bear, moose, caribou, inland grizz.
He does everything. I pretty much do bears and sheep. Used to do a lot more of the spring bear type stuff.
Yeah.
Busy here with lake trout fishing and whatnot.
Yeah.
Pretty much I commit to 2 sheep hunts a year now.
Okay. And those are August.
Those are August. Sometimes those guys have bear tags as well.
Okay.
Or we can shoot a wolf or whatever. But
yeah.
I don't do the moose because I got to get home here for archery.
Because that's September-ish there, or late September.
Yep.
Well, tell us a little bit about some of the Alaska stuff. So you've kind of cut your teeth here. Was Jonah the first kind of your first pull to Alaska? Or
yeah, it's kind of an interesting kind of time, I guess, in just married life. But we were, I was working a lot of hours at jobs I really didn't like, which my wife knew. She kind of applied for a guide job in Alaska for me. And
what a stud.
It would have been really cool. It didn't work out, but it was on a Fognak Island.
Oh yeah.
So I'd been guiding fishing at this point, but not on real full-time basis yet, pretty part-time, doing a lot of construction stuff, drywalling a lot, and working a time clock punching job that I really didn't like, just to kind of the safety blanket, I guess.
Yeah.
But putting like 80 hours a week in there, and I don't know, it was just kind of a goofy time, but she knew I needed to be doing something different, and she kind of applied for that job. It was a fishing and hunting guide position on a Fognac Island. Got the final call for the job and everything. I didn't have a captain's license because you don't require one in Colorado, and they needed me to start working like right away.
Yeah.
So I ended up not getting the job because of that. But that kind of spurred the thought of Alaska. I'm like, man, I've always wanted to go to Alaska. I knew I almost went up there right out of high school, but I knew if I did, I'd never get a degree.
I know. Yeah.
Or come back.
Or come home.
I know. That's what they all say. Yeah.
But I was like, man, Jonah either is working for the best outfitter in Alaska or he is the best outfitter in Alaska.
Yeah.
And so I hadn't talked to him in several years, called him up, and he's like, man, you should come up here in like 3 weeks and help me with some bear hunts. And I'm like, all right. I was still working. I worked at a different job at that point, and told my boss, like, hey, I got this cool opportunity. And she was like, yeah, go do that. So
kind of had support from all sides.
Yeah,
and
support from all sides. It was a quick, like a 2.5, 3 week trip, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I bought a plane ticket. Jonah's like, I'll take care of everything else when you get up here. At this point, I'm just working for free. I don't have any credentials or anything.
Yeah.
This was spring bear season, so get my, basically I started working on getting my hours in to get a guide license in Alaska by doing these spring bear hunts. And those hunts are kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Got to hunt with, just incredible guys. Got to follow Roy Roth around for a few weeks.
Oh, nice.
Learned a ton from that guy. Just amazing individual.
Yeah. Sounds like.
But that's kind of how I cut my teeth in Alaska. Anyways.
And is that, at that point, did Jonah own the outfit, or was he working for
he owned it. He was he'd been running it for a few years, very much in the building stages.
Okay.
But
and did he grow up in Alaska, or where did he grow up?
He grew up in Alaska for the most part. I think could be off by a little bit, but I think his family moved up there when he was 5 or 6.
Okay, yeah. So that was kind of what he knew, and that's a crazy transition for him to come all the way out to Gunnison to wrestle, But like you said, I've heard it from multiple people about Jonah being like my brother was like, that's the best hunter I know for sure. Like he's just a killer. And I remember my dad, when you guys were in college, being mad that Jonah shot a big buck. I remember that, and it was like, because like hardly any college kids like go out and kill like a hammer, you know what I mean? And not like out of luck. Like Jonah knew that buck was there and went in and killed him. And so he's very experienced, even at a young age.
Very experienced, works super hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alaska's definitely intriguing for sure. Tell us a bit about some of that.
It was just a really cool opportunity to be able to do that. Like, I felt like I didn't know a whole ton of a lot, but I was getting this cool opportunity to learn a lot. Learning from Jonah, learning from Roy, Harold Fahrenbrook.
Yeah.
I got to be surrounded by incredible guys.
Yeah.
We're so far above probably what I'll ever be.
Yeah.
But just learned a ton from those guys.
Yeah. And then just the environment, the mountains, different species. Now all of a sudden there's this introduction of dangerous game, right? Which is interesting.
It's just a different level. It's in some ways it's kind of doesn't ruin Colorado for me, but it's just a different game.
Yeah.
When you get flown out and dropped off on a sheep hunt, you're there.
Yeah.
You're there. If the weather gets terrible, you're there.
Yeah.
You're not getting picked up.
Yeah.
Had just a crazy last fall with weather and some stuff, but just a different level. Nobody's coming to save you, I guess, when things go south.
Yeah.
So you better have your
And you kind of
have
saw
your head
that
game.
like from the get go, like those first 2 weeks that you're guiding bear hunts.
Yeah.
And these were inland or these were coastal?
These are coastals.
Okay.
We're hunting out of a cabin, and it's all snow. Doing some snowmobiling, snowshoeing. This was April hunting, like hunting them out of the dens.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But you'd see, like, I mean, you might be 14 miles from the cabin, and the snow gets too much sun that day, and you can't make it back with your snowmobile. So you go crawl under a tree well for the night. Like, that's just the kind of stuff you end up doing up there. And for me, from being down here, like, it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
You know? Like, you just don't do that.
Yeah.
But I'm, like with Roy, he's just like, yeah, this is what we do.
Yeah.
And he was obviously very experienced at that point.
Crazy experience, and probably one of the toughest people I will ever meet. Like, just crazy, unbelievably mentally tough.
Yeah. And that was like who you were helping my first
my 2 years up there was pretty much following Roy around, and like Roy was incredible guy, super funny, super fun to be around, and kind of crazy. Like, I mean, we'd be
that means a lot coming from
we
you.
We could be
know?
hunting for 20 hours, and then we're like totally wiped and trying to snowmobile to a cabin to stay the night and cut a fresh bear track. Like, you're chasing it. Like, cabin, we're not doing that anymore. We're chasing this track we just found. Like, away you go, and just tons of stories too. But
yeah, I didn't know you got to kind of work with him right off the bat, because it is just such an advantage to have someone with such a wealth of experience in that environment and that species and everything. You can just pick up so much,
especially at that early stage of like your hunting career. Like, I bet you were just like
and
a
avoid
sponge.
just lots of mistakes.
I think you pick up a lot of, like, you see how people handle themselves under pressure and in tough situations too. Like, that's most people get in trouble because they just don't keep their head about themselves in tough situations.
Yeah.
But Roy's a whole funny story in itself. But we're flying out to the cabin. I like land in Alaska. Jonah picks me up in Anchorage, and we're flying out to the cabin. Like, first time in a bush plane in the works. I hate flying. We're in this bush plane. And, like, I hope this guy knows what he's doing. Jonah's an incredible pilot.
Yeah, and he was flying at that point.
Yeah, he's flying. But he's telling me about, like, wrecking a plane and some stupid stuff. While we're flying out there, I'm like, oh, this is great. Good thing I got my life insurance policy up before this trip.
Yeah.
But he's still talking about Roy, and I had no idea who Roy is, And you build a mental image of people in your mind.
Yeah.
I mean, Jonas is telling me story after story after story about Roy, and I'm just like, man, this guy, he's like 7 feet tall, like built like a, just muscular dude. Like, this guy sounds like unhuman, And we land on the lake in front of the cabin, and I kid you not, I don't know how else to explain it, but Roy flops out of the cabin, like, swings the door open. He's in his Roy's uniform, black sweatpants, and like some hoodie, and like those yellow like gloves you buy at like a feed store, And he's just like, so you want to be a bear hunting guide, huh? I'm like, I guess.
That's awesome.
And Jonah's like, this is Roy. And I'm like, this is Roy. Like, how does this not add up? All these stories I'm hearing.
Hilarious. But like you said, you didn't know, like, the mentally tough part of it is like what you probably didn't understand at that point.
He's like the best example of you cannot judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Just, yeah. And that's kind of like, I mean, I obviously didn't know him, but like the pictures I saw of him, I'm like, that's the guy, because like he's hunting with Cam Hanes, and it's like Cam Hanes, and then it's this guy, but then like you hear Cam Hanes talk about him, and it's like that's the guy that pushed Cam Hanes to like be where he is,
You just never know.
Crazy tough, crazy strong. We're always breaking snowmobiles doing that stuff.
Yeah.
And we broke one. I had to like snowshoe 5 miles to get some part and come back, and then I'm riding double with Roy, and he's like riding, a huge expedition machine, wide track, like 700-pound machine.
Yeah.
And we rolled that thing over on the top of us in a tree well. And Roy's just like, "You good?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good. Like, I can't move, but I'm good." And he just like shoves this thing off of us, you know. And it's like, I would have died there. Like I couldn't have moved that thing, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's no big deal. Just shove the thing off of us.
Yeah. And that was. Did you get a bear?
Yeah, we got bears. Yeah, I think we got bears every hunt we ever did up there doing that. But
yeah.
You ever have any crazy encounters with a bear out there with a client or just with you guys hunting? Any real close calls on some of that? And how aggressive are they really? You know, they really aggressive only once they're wounded, or
that time of year with those coastal bears, they're not crazy aggressive.
In the spring.
In the spring, but every bear is different.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like laid back bears and there's not laid back bears.
Yeah.
In general, those coastal bears are a little more laid back because they have salmon, all the food they want to eat. On those spring hunts, you wouldn't see a lot of bears because they're just popping out of their dens. You'd pretty much see the bear that you ended up hunting.
Gotcha.
So you weren't super concerned in those hunts. The August, like the sheep hunts, the Brooks Range bears, those bears are nuts. They're crazy. They're aggressive.
and there's just a lot of them. You know,
They don't get salmon. They're working hard for their food.
Yeah.
Haven't had any super crazy. Had my gun out and pointed at some a few times. That kind of. Oh, I take that back. So we used to do after the spring hunts. We'd hunt in May. And those hunts we did a lot of archery hunts.
Okay.
Had some crazy stuff there. We had I guess it was actually the first May hunt I'd ever guided. And we'd sit in tree stands or ground blinds. This particular night we were in a tree stand, but you could shoot 2 brown bears and I don't remember about as many black bears as you want.
Yeah.
But my client shot a brown bear and a black bear like right before it was like dark. But we'd always sit the tree through the dark all night. We'd do like 12. This client was nuts. We'd sit 14, 16, 18 hours in the tree.
No kidding.
Why? I'm like, this is my first time guiding this way. I'm like, I ain't getting out of the tree if he doesn't want to get out of the tree, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, what was his reasoning for that?
Just more, longer in the tree, the better odds you got of getting the one you want.
Okay.
Which is totally fine. Anyway, we shoot a black bear. We shot a brown bear and a black bear right before dark, and it's like pretty much dark. But I start climbing out of the tree, and a bear is like under the tree. I didn't even know he was there. So I back up the tree, like we're gonna wait till it's just, like we can see a little bit. We have bears everywhere. So we kind of just, rope yourself in the tree and fall asleep as best you can. And in morning, get up and start skinning out this bear. We had a bear kind of half tear up that brown bear, a bigger brown bear. But I'm working on skinning it, and client's a real experienced hunter, so he's wanting to help, so we're both in there skinning. I hear a twig break, look over my shoulder. We got a sow, 20 inside 20 yards, ears back, running straight at us, It's like, oh my gosh. So we're falling all over ourselves. My rifle's over there. We got pepper spray over there. We're just falling all over ourselves. I'm trying to get to my rifle, and that thing at like 5 yards just veers off, and the heart's just like,
gosh, dude.
And I'm just kind of like, all right, that was my one warning I get,
Yeah.
Like, and since then I've always had the rule, like, clients do not help. I don't care how long it's going to take me. You do not help me skin.
Yeah.
You're on God.
You just keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that was kind of my one learning curve there. I always felt like I got kind of lucky on that one.
Yeah,
but
because how far were you from your rifle when she veered at 5 yards? Not close enough, obviously.
Not that far, but not close enough.
Yeah.
Like, it takes longer. They're fast, and it takes longer to get to.
Because they probably run 30 miles an hour dead sprint, don't they say something like that?
She was moving.
That's just a truck
I think just
moving at you with claws.
When we kind of just all exploded out trying to get stuff, she was like, oh, there's more going on here than I anticipated, and didn't know which target to take,
Oof,
But then
gosh.
the entire time I skinned those bears, she just walked a circle. You could hear her breaking branches and huffing and puffing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! I'd have cut the shit out of my fingers looking to see where she was the whole time.
That was one real close one. Had a few others in the Brooks range, nothing crazy, but I was. You should always have your gun with you. This is bottom line. But I was like, I just set up camp, and I'm like 30 yards from the tent glassing, and we're like on this ridge. You feel like you can see everything from, you know. So I'm like glassing these rams, and rifles laying against the tent, you know, and just hear something and look over, and I got 3 cubs at like 30 yards, and mama's behind them. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this isn't real good. And the cubs are like super curious, you know. So they're like they see me and they're just like looking and wandering my way, and I didn't move. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna see what she does. If she starts coming, I am sprinting to the tent. Yeah. And whatever, you know. She caught my wind, got up on all 4. My client's like out like a light in the tent, so he ain't helping me. And she stands up on all 4s, and she is pissed and just huffing and puffing. And I did not move. And pretty soon she dropped down and came up to her closest cub to her, and then they all kind of gathered around her and came back. But about 30 yards, and I was like, any closer, and I'm sprinting to the tent, you know. But it worked out good.
Yeah, man, that's often 2 close calls.
How often are you carrying a sidearm now? When do you
Man, I hate carrying a pistol. And
so much extra weight.
I'm bad at it.
But
I know, yeah.
But I generally have one, at least a little noisemaker in my pocket or something. But I carry
little purse pistol.
I like to carry a rifle nowadays. If needed, I'd prefer
a 45-70.
I really don't like carrying heavy things.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So lately I've been carrying my 6.5 Creedmoor.
Oh my gosh!
It's always reassuring for the client in camps. Like, so what are you backing me up with there? Like,
it's kind
6.5.
It's kind of a backup sheep gun.
Slash. I usually piss off a brown bear.
I usually have a 10mm Glock.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Sidearm. I mean, and the problem is the sidearms that you have to carry there. They are heavy. Like 10mm. Yeah. Like 454 Casull. Like they got to be big.
I know. I may get built this year. I'm working on like a really, really light 45-70, but we'll see if it ever happens. But it is nice to have kind of a backup gun if your client breaks their gun or something where I like having like a good sheep gun with me. Yeah. And
but that's their problem. I'm going to protect myself with the open sight 45-70 at 30 yards. That is crazy. That is my brother guided with Seth up there in Alaska for only, I think it was a year or 2. And he asked Jonah, he's like, I'll do it again, but only in tree stands. He's like, I'm not doing a ground blind again. Jonah's like, well, we hung out of both. Casey's like, all right, see you later. I that was like one of my bucket list hunts until I saw some of those pictures and videos, and I'm like, I don't.
That same hunt after we had that bear charge, so we got our 1 brown bear and black bear there, and we ended up getting moved to another spot. I'm hunting with a traditional recurve guy. And so we went to another...
For sheep?
For brown bears.
Oh, my gosh.
So we went to another spot, though, and sat in a ground blind, and we're like, our shooting kind of distance like 12 yards out of this ground blind. And you're in the ground blind, you're living in the ground blind. But he ended up shooting a giant bear at like 10 yards out of that ground blind, and that's...
Smoked it, too?
He smoked it, but it's still pretty intense.
Yeah, it's hairy.
That thing, I ended up kind of cutting a hole in the blind just so I could like stick my pistol out if I needed to, But you're not even breathing. This thing's walking past you at like point blank,
Oh my gosh.
And he smoked it, and we just froze. And I remember it running past the ground blind. Like I could have reached my arm out the ground blind and touched it when it ran by. It didn't know we were there,
Yeah.
obviously. But then you heard it die behind
Are
the
these
blind.
blinds like a brush, or are they like a
It's
double
kinda,
bull?
It's kind of like a double bull pop up with a little bit of brush leaning against it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same stuff we're using for whitetail,
But
but
I'm
for a
sitting there,
10-foot bear.
my client's got the shooting lane and he can see everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like back in this, I can't see nothing, and
Yeah.
I was like, cut a little hole, just like peeking an eye out the side, like hoping I can do something if I need to, But,
Yeah. And was that like a well-known guy, or was he just some random guy that liked to shoot a stick bow?
yeah, just not a super well-known guy, incredible, great hunter, killed a lot of stuff. But
Yeah. Just one of the under the radar guys. Did you have a lot of traditional hunters?
not a ton, but decent amount.
Yeah.
A lot of bow hunters in general.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. But I mean, like you said, that adds. Now, do you know the specifics, like how heavy of an arrow was he shooting? Like, did he get a clean pass through?
I know he was shooting like iron wills,
Yeah.
and they crushed it, and he was shooting some heavy arrows. But
Yeah.
I really don't. I'm not the guy that gets way into detail on
Yeah.
the
But it was a
equipment.
heavy setup. Did he get a pass through?
I just know too, like every time we get to the stand, he'd like pick some stick out in the ground and he'd shoot one of those. And I knew he was shooting like $100-some arrow every time
Yeah.
he shot, but he would just stick one in the dirt every time we got to the blind.
Yeah, just to make sure
Just to
it's
make
always
sure
good. Oh yeah.
he felt good,
Yeah, that's important. It's like I won't even do that whitetail hunting because I'm too cheap to waste the arrow. But it's like it gives you confidence when you
Yeah.
get in there for sure. To
I'm pretty
Semi.
sure that one passed through or like hung up on the fletches on the backside or
yeah,
something.
but
like,
it went.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be pretty epic with the trad
Yeah.
bow for sure.
How long did it take that bear to die?
Seconds.
Really?
It died like 15 yards behind the blind.
And it was a giant.
Yeah, like a little over 9 foot.
Jeez, crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, is that one of your favorite things to do? Bear guide?
Not really. They don't do it for me.
Okay, all right, yeah. I mean, I was just wondering because, like, I think bears are cool. It's just not like at the top of my list. But
I'd love to hunt one myself sometime just to do it.
Yeah.
But it's not like a hunt I would really pay for.
Yeah.
It's not what does it for me.
yeah, for sure.
I'm very much like sheep hunter,
yeah,
goat hunter, high alpine,
yeah,
that kind of thing.
definitely.
They're fun.
yeah.
It was great work, and I learned a ton.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, you're probably a little desensitized to bears in general from doing that as often as you did it also,
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And I did that for just a few years, but like you were saying, Casey didn't want to sit the ground blind or whatever. But yeah, my first time in the ground blind, it was probably that same ground blind, but Jonah's like, now, do not use the pepper spray on a black bear. He's like, you'll run out of pepper spray, like, the first night. Like, that is only if a brown bear is charging you in the blind. He's like, if a black bear
Just
comes
take it.
in, you just punch him in the nose, and they'll leave.
Oh my.
He's like, every once in a while there's a mean black bear, but you can kind of tell those ones. You shoot those ones.
That's hilarious.
Sure enough, man,
When
black
it's
bear.
gnawing on your leg, you can shoot it.
Yeah,
at that
exactly. Yeah. When you can't shoot sows, right? You can't shoot sow brown bears.
You shouldn't.
You shouldn't for the population's
Yeah,
sake.
you can, and the way we were hunting, I mean, the sows bring in the boars.
Gotcha.
So you don't
use
want
them as
to.
like a decoy almost.
Yeah, but yeah, sure enough. I mean, those black bears, they'll come and stick their head in the blind, and you hit them with a stick, and they bounce back.
That's
and
what Casey
leave.
said. He was like, black bears ended up just being like raccoons.
They're like
Yeah, useless.
overgrown raccoons.
Yeah. He's like one time my client's boot or something fell out of the stand, and like the black bear was like sitting below the tree stand, like playing with the shoe and like chewing on it and throwing it in the air and stuff. And he's like, then you'd know when a brown bear was coming in because all those black bears would be like, shoo.
It definitely gives you a different view of black bears. Like
Yeah, I'm
here in
sure.
Colorado, I mean, people freak out like black bears.
Yeah,
Where I live, we have bears through the yard like
Constant.
daily, you
Yeah.
know, and like neighbors freak out about it. like run out there and chase them
In your underwear.
and scream at them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They're so scared of you, but
I know.
They
And
are
there's,
just
and
such a-
like you said, there's probably some that are aggressive. Like I've heard some stories of people getting like into encounters with black bears. I've never had a negative experience with black bear.
you can honestly, I mean, Jonas said, but you can kind of tell, like, the look in their eye, like, you know when it's one you shouldn't turn your back on, you know?
Yeah.
And I had that instance, too. We'd shot a brown bear and had this black bear. Like, we couldn't run him off, and he was just mean, you know? And he'd try to sneak up behind you while you're skinning the brown bear. And I just told my client, I was like, if he passes that, tree,
Dump
shoot
him.
him.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
'cause he wouldn't run off, couldn't chase him off. He just wouldn't leave. And
Was he like an older
bear? He was a nice big old black bear, yeah.
Yeah.
But the client didn't have any desire to shoot him, and
Yeah.
I didn't want to have to shoot him.
Yeah.
But he'd try to run him off, and he'd run right at you.
But we were just talking about this like a couple podcasts ago. You can tell, like, spend enough time around animals, you can really kind of see that behavior and
See
that
their body
demeanor.
language.
Yeah,
Yeah.
body language is huge. I mean, you can tell if you pay attention to it, you can really tell what their intentions are. You know,
And bears are interesting. I haven't got to spend a lot of time around them, but I've been in tree stands with bears coming in. It's always amazing to me how quiet they are on the ground. Of course, I can't hear, but
yeah.
when I could, it was incredible. You know? And you can even like watch them walking, and you're like just silent some of the time. You know, even in kind of noisy terrain, and their demeanor is odd. Like the bears change everywhere because some of them are kind of playful, and you get some of those like really like we had that one that Nige had that encounter with that huge old male with a big old scar on his face, and just his like presence when he moved and stuff was kind of a little bit, I don't know how to describe it, a little otherworldly.
Yeah.
You know, which in contrast to when they're like playful, like we had that cub come in and like woof at us and stuff. It's very different.
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
They're interesting.
He was
animals.
serious. He didn't have time for any BS. That
But
old
it is
guy.
funny that people are so nervous of them when they're just really one of your least. They're just not much of a concern at all. I mean, even here you hear it all the time, guys being really concerned about black bears, and the probability of having a bad encounter with a black bear where we are now is so low.
And we have a
There's
lot of them.
So
I know.
many other
We have a
things
ton, like, where we're at. And
Yeah, but a cow moose is way more terrifying than a black bear. You know.
Half my
way more dangerous.
we do
Yeah.
a lot of backpack style hunts here, you know, and a lot of my clients, what are we gonna do with our food? And I'm just gonna sleep with mine.
Yeah, I do.
The odds
I-
of a
I
black
wouldn't
bear
yeah.
coming are like so slim, and
You don't even.
I wouldn't do
hear
that
of-
in Alaska, but I do it here for
Yeah,
sure.
I know for sure.
Yeah.
I know some guys that do it here, and I mean, I don't. In all the years I've been here, I've never even. Well, I have actually. I've heard of some hikers up on the trail have their stuff
robbed,
raided.
yeah.
But I also think that's places where there's so much human activity that a bear has got used to. He stole something
Human
once.
scent,
Where
yeah.
we're spending our time, you know. I've had bears get on like the 4-wheeler and chew the seat off and stuff like that when you're not there. Juveniles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, have you ever had a bear get into your tent in all the years here?
not here,
Yeah, and how often have you heard of it? It's not that often.
not
eh?
often. I mean, if you do, it's in like an organized campground
Exactly.
or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, trailhead
Yeah.
that's busy. That you
Totally.
got lots of people picnicking at and stuff like that. Yeah. Well, tell us a bit more about kind of the Colorado side of things. So, you in that at some point you acquired some outfitting licenses here, and then
Yeah, we kind of honestly, we almost moved to Alaska. We kind of
okay. So you guys considered that going there full time?
yeah, we did. We kind of started renting our house here in Gunnison as a vacation rental. Moved into the little apartment I lived in college, and at the time we had 2 kids. Our 2 older girls, little. They were like 1 and 0 and 1, or 1 and 2 or something. And kind of was leaning towards moving up there, and then kind of got back from guiding this spring, and had a cool business opportunity in Lake City.
Okay.
It was kind of too good to.
Which is where the vacation rental was.
Yeah, we were able to buy the vacation rental business. Kind of, I wouldn't say like close friends of ours, but a couple we went to church with here in Gunnison owned it, and they knew we'd put our place up for rent here, and invited us up for dinner one day, and kind of showed us the place. I didn't really think much of it. Like, really nice people. We kind of known them, but not real well.
Yeah.
And then they called us up like the next week. Hey, you want to buy this place? I laughed. Like, I have no money. Like, I'm 7 years old, and like I don't know what money you think I have.
I'd love to, but I'm not your guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just a really, really cool couple, but they didn't want to sell everything off individually. They like wanted to keep it as a business, and they wanted a young couple to be able to run it, and outrageous amount of money, you know. But Bob was just like, hey, see what you can do, and then let us know, and we'll see what we can do. And I called my dad up, and my dad's a Baptist preacher, small town church. Like, we never had money growing up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we weren't poor, but we weren't rich by any means.
Yeah.
You know? He's never owned maybe he's owned one new car ever. I don't know. We didn't have money, you know? And I knew he couldn't, like, help me out.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any money. I'm, like, 27 years old and throwing drywall on ceilings.
Yeah.
But I told him, I was like, man, we got this opportunity to buy this vacation rental business. And he's like, man, that sounds crazy. But if anybody can pull it off, you can pull it off. And he's like, I don't have any money I can loan you. He's like, but I got great credit. I'd co-sign something for you if that's helpful.
Wow.
So we worked through the details or whatever. With our credit score, his credit score, and co-signing, we were able to get a loan for the smallest property in the rental business. Basically a one-room cabin with a loft in it. And so I called him up. Was like, this is the best we can do. They were like, all right, we'll finance the rest of it. And I was like, all right. And we'd been kind of praying about what we needed to do, and like we knew we were like primed for a change in our life, you know, but didn't know what it was. And that was like, all right, that's the sign. That's what we're doing.
Wow, man, that is so cool.
So that's how we ended up in Lake City, and so we get up to Lake City. And at this point, I'm guiding fishing, and I've been guiding hunting for Jonah. And I'm like, this is what I need. This is what I want to do. Like, this is all I want to do. Happened to have an outfitting business. I saw a listing for an outfitting business for sale in Lake City. I'm like, I got to call on this. Like, I don't know how to buy it, but I got to call on it. And they're like, man, it just went under contract last week. I'm like, okay. Well, shoot, you know. But I ended up emailing that new owner like once a year for 3 years.
Funny.
Never got a response. But just, hey, Seth, I live in Lake City. If you ever want to sell, I know these things always sell under the table, quick, before anybody knows they're for sale.
Yeah.
Just please consider letting me know if you ever want to sell. And I think I did that for 3 falls. Never heard anything. And then one spring, I'm like hanging drywall, and I get a phone call. He's like, I think I'm ready to sell something. I'm like, really? So we talked through that, and he'd already like committed to selling part of the outfit to another guy. So I kind of got what was in his mind kind of the worthless third, basically, for relatively cheap. I mean, in the grand scheme, you're not actually getting anything of any value other than blue sky.
Yeah.
And a pile of junk that I took to the dump after I paid it off. But
like tack and stuff like that.
Like tack and worn out
moldy old
tents and moldy like rusted up moldy cooking equipment, because none of these old guys like put anything away properly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But then that kind of
that was my foot in the door.
Yeah. And that kind of gave you the opportunity to do what you were best at, which is what you're specializing in now, which I don't know any other outfitter that's truly specializing in like backpack hunting. You know what I mean? Like, there is some horse stuff and some drop camps and some stuff, but you're doing it the real deal.
I just kind of wanted to do it the way I hunted.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'd guided a few hunts around the valley for some other people and stuff too, and they run decent operations too. I just wanted to do something different.
Yeah. And kind of your backpacking experience there, I assume, was from the Dall sheep hunting with Jonah.
Yeah, I got into backpacking at a really young age, which is kind of crazy, but my dad we took like a llama trip into the Wimminooch.
Nice.
It's like half backpack, half llama, fly fishing trip.
Fun.
And man, I was addicted to backpacking and just the backcountry after that.
Yeah. So that was almost your hook moment. I mean, obviously that's not like necessarily
Not the hunting hook
related.
for sure, but like just the outdoor hook for sure.
like the
Wimminooch
lust.
is a special place too. There's some crazy wild stuff
man.
in there, and some of the prettiest high country I think in all of Western
ended
United
up
States.
at,
It's
like-
got some interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Come back from that and I'm like 13, 14 years old and I'm like buying backpacks and tents. And if you know my dad, he like doesn't spend money on stuff like that. He's like, why are you buying a $60 sleeping bag, you know?
Yeah.
It's lighter
Because it's
than
lighter, yeah.
whatever,
Saving
you know?
ounces here.
So kind of building in that, and then once I could drive, you know, just go do stuff. Even before, honestly, one of the coolest trips, which is just blows my mind now that I have a kid that's like almost 15. But I was 15 and owned a truck, and my buddy was 16 and had a driver's license. And
Sounds legit.
yeah, so we grabbed, it's us two and his little brother's 12. And we hop in my truck and we drive to Creed from, you know, it's a 4.5 hour drive. And we call my parents on a payphone. Hey, we made it to Creed. All right, you know, call us when you get out of the woods. And we went on, I think it was like a 5 or 6 day backpacking trip into the Wimminooch.
At 15, 16, and 12.
Like I'm packing a borrowed 44 mag, which is totally illegal, but like there's bears there, so I should have something.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have cell phones or anything.
Yeah.
And but that was an incredible experience.
For sure.
And we come out of there, you know, get back to town. We made it, you know, we're heading home.
We're alive,
Yeah.
coming back.
Unbelievable experience, but I was like so hooked on
But like you said, having kids that age now, like, I mean, I guess your kids are very experienced in that world now, but would you trust them to do that?
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just we just live in a different world
Yeah,
too,
we
you
do.
know?
For sure. For sure.
It's crazy, but
Yeah.
and we duck hunt and all that kind of got way into duck hunting at a young age, at kind of that same age.
Okay.
Well, tell us a little bit about. I mean, obviously you accumulated more outfitting kind of scope than that after that. But
goofy thing with that. So the outfitter I bought from basically sold 2/3. I bought kind of the worthless third, and the other guy got the really good third. And
And you're talking like the permits themselves.
as far as the permits go and the areas and whatnot. And so that fall, I have a fishing trip booked and guiding a guy on the pontoon, and he's like, hey, a new outfitter around, just bought this guy out, you know, and I'm like, oh, I bought the other third, you know, it's kind of random.
Yeah.
And so same deal, I just was like, hey man, if you ever want to sell, like I know you just bought it, I'm like trying to
Yeah.
I can't buy it right now.
Yeah.
But like, if you ever want to sell, please let me know, because I'll be interested, you know. And a few years later, I'm actually driving to the Anchorage airport after guiding a sheep hunt, and I get the phone call, and I'm ready to sell. I call Amy. We have to buy this. I don't know how, but we have to buy this because this only comes around once, you know. And
yeah, to be able to make that whole again.
yeah, the first time I was able to owner finance. You can't get a loan on a hunting outfit,
Right,
Because you're not
there's
buying
no
anything.
value.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is a tricky
So
one.
owner financed the first one, and then this guy needed the money right away or whatever. But I was able to get a private loan and
Okay.
get that
that.
taken care of.
Well, tell us what's.
But that really expanded the area and
Yeah. And so what do you guys specialize in now? How do you go about it? Like Connor was saying, you're not just kind of hunt out of a cabin setup necessarily. I know you've got several guides and you do lots of different things. But
we do a mixed bag for sure. But our earlier kind of first half of hunting season, September through mid-October into second season, we're primarily trying to backpack hunt, but we do have the vacation home rental business, and if a guy wants to sleep in a bed every night, we'll accommodate. Like we'll do what we can. What we can do there. Being Colorado, you obviously do. People come to Colorado to elk hunts. We do a lot of elk hunts.
Yeah.
I am extremely honest when it comes to our deer in the valley and what expectations should be.
Yeah.
So I do a handful of deer hunts, but not a ton, because I don't always tell people what they want to hear.
Right. But you're being
But
honest.
I don't want to
with them.
book a hunt that somebody has unrealistic expectations.
Totally.
Can you give, what is that?
Man,
just give us some.
right now I tell guys if we hunt hard, we should find one kind of upper age class buck on a 5-day hunt. It might be 170, might be 195, but we're not going to find more than one.
Yeah.
And the odds are it's going to be closer to that 170.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, which is a fair assessment
great
and good
buck,
for
too.
you. Yeah, it's a great buck.
It's a great deer.
But everybody comes here with these expectations and the stars in their eyes of 200
Social
deer.
media, just magazine covers, like
Yeah.
all of it's working against you. Honestly, too, most guys, you put them on a 175-inch buck, and they're like, "That thing's massive.
Yeah.
Like, that's a 190-inch deer." You're like, no, it's 175. Like,
Yeah.
I want you to know straight up, it's 175.
Yeah, but it's still a good
It's
buck.
a crazy.
and-
I mean, I would shoot that buck every day of the week.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm definitely not an inch counter.
Yeah,
Anyways,
for
I have
sure.
to know what I'm talking about with the guiding end of it.
Right.
But, I'd just assume shoot a big old.
Yeah.
It's an old deer. Then.
Absolutely.
Some of the country you're hunting as well, for people that don't know, is pretty. You know, I've got to spend a fair bit of time in that country. It's not rugged for you, but it is for most people.
Yeah.
You know, and even that's another kind of realistic expectation you have to set, because that's not the kind of country like someone comes from flatland
Yeah.
and then just runs around for 5 days.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
you got to be smart when you're guiding too. I mean,
yeah.
most
someone
clients, you're gonna get one good push out of a guy in that country. So you make
Gotta
sure
say
that
that-
one good push is gonna be successful.
Yeah.
So you really gotta
Weigh your odds.
play smart and weigh your odds and
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, it makes it very challenging, particularly archery season, because you not only you're dealing with that, but you know, you're locating one or two good bucks potentially, and then trying to get someone into that position, and you're not successful on every stalk, right?
Yeah.
So it's
totally.
it's a phenomenal hunt. And then the way you guys are doing it, there's not that many people that are really catering to a genuine like backpack, high country, lightweight, extended trip. You know, like if
Yeah.
someone wanted to, they could come and hunt for 7 days, you know, out of a lightweight backpack
Yep.
with you guys.
Which is awesome because you probably attract a different type of clientele.
Definitely limit our client base for sure.
Yeah.
But you're kind of attracting a different clientele.
Yeah.
I really try to. I'm a sheep hunter. If somebody asks me what I do, I'm a sheep hunting guide. Like I'm a sheep hunter.
Yeah.
That's what I like to do. So really try to get some sheep hunts booked each fall too.
Yeah.
We have some mountain goat area as well. That's my love. Next closest thing we have is high country mule deer hunting.
Yeah.
So try to do that as much as I can.
And that's what, I mean, that's something we briefly touched on, but didn't really talk about in extent is the Dall sheep guiding, which that for me, never being in Alaska, that's the top tier for me, like over brown bear, over moose, over anything else. Like that's,
Yeah, they seem such different, just different worlds apart. They
Yeah.
live in like such different areas.
Yeah.
It just like, to me, it just seems like it's like two totally different things,
Yeah.
even though they're right there.
yeah. I mean, is that where your love for sheep kind of started?
100% love for sheep started there. I don't know what it is about sheep. I think it is a lot, just the country that they live in, the challenge, the hardship to get to them and
Yeah.
stay, or get in their country and stay there.
Yeah.
Mixed in with my enjoyment of backpacking.
Yeah.
But I like being on the top of things.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, kind of do
It's
the
all-
best of both worlds. But I mean, something that I think about, like the 40-inch thing and the age restriction and stuff, that's a tough call to make as a guide. Like that has to take a lot of practice and a lot of looking over sheep to kind of figure that out.
It is, and I'd be lying if I didn't tell you it's kind of stressful every time.
Absolutely.
Very stressful, yeah.
And now with the price of hunts, even more so.
Yeah. Because you're looking at what, 60 now or close to it?
I think 40-ish where we're
Okay.
at, but it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy amount of money.
Yeah, there's a lot riding on that.
Yeah.
Everyone who's guided
Yeah.
to some degree is always kind of got that stress, but that's pretty, it's pretty important
Yeah.
from a lot of different aspects there. And
Yeah.
I kind of found myself in the the archery guide niche for quite a while. I was guiding most of the archery hunters coming in, and you think, oh, well, you're close, you can age them easy. No, like when you're that
Yeah.
close, you're trying to kill them.
Yeah, you're
Like you got to
yeah,
decide
too
you're going to
close.
shoot it well before you ever get into that range.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
And then all
totally.
chaos happens. And I don't know. I guess I'm an aggressive hunter, I
Yeah.
would say. I honestly haven't hunted with a lot of people. I hunt solo primarily.
Yeah, you're an aggressive.
But I'm
hunter.
an aggressive hunter, I think. And I mean, when it's go time and you have an opportunity to get a sheep with a bow, like you go.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you're sprinting.
Yeah,
Like every situation is different.
Yeah.
You just adapt on the fly.
totally.
But you got to know that you're killing that sheep well before you ever.
Make the
Yeah.
approach.
I mean, that same,
Yeah.
for sure. We kind of had that when we were talking about like the elk, trying to judge that if you're trying to wait for a really big one. And, scenarios where you're like calling one in, it's like, well, sometimes you only see them for like 4 or 5 seconds before you
Yeah.
have to make the shot.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't get to assess it, walk through your one shooting lane as it comes running in. So
Yeah.
I could totally see that.
I always wonder what clients think sometimes on those aggressive situations because a lot of guys are pretty sit back and.
It is interesting for sure. I think a lot of guys. I'm super aggressive as well,
Yeah.
and it is funny to hunt with other people that when you do something, they're like, I had no idea
that
you could do that.
But
And-
there's
and-
sometimes to run and there's sometimes to sit still.
Yeah, but hunting's always been this like methodical, and it is, right? It's methodic, but it's like there's times to be methodical, there's times to be patient, and then the one that's kind of forgotten is this like time to be very aggressive.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it is a curveball. I mean, a couple of years ago, hunting with Randy, we had a scenario where it played out in front of us, and I was pretty much just like, I have to drop my backpack and run all the way there and shoot it. And he's like, what? I was like, I got to drop my backpack right now. Like, it just has to happen now. I was like, are you fine bringing it down? Yeah, drop my backpack. I run like a mile, get to this point. Elk comes around the corner, kill it. The whole time I like ran through a whole herd of elk just to get there, and he literally was gobsmacked he was like, I just had no idea you could, that was even a thing.
Yeah, that could work.
For sheep. Yeah.
One of the first archery sheep hunts I guided, it was kind of a crazy one, but I'd like a lot of times I'll climb the real steep, nasty stuff to glass or figure stuff out and not like drag the client up there, So I had a assistant guide with me on this one too. So I left him and the client down kind of in the saddle, and I went up in these rocks, and I'm aging these sheep to make sure we can shoot them. And
At how far? Like, how far do you feel like you have to be to age them? Like, what's the furthest away you can
man,
be?
it really varies a ton. I really like to be inside 400 yards.
Okay.
But I've made that call at 1200.
Yeah, if conditions are
But-
good.
And there's some
but it's probably obviously a no-brainer. If you're making that at 1,200 yards, you're like, oh, he's obviously full curl.
it's still stressful though. I
Yeah.
really like to age everything.
Yeah, because it's 10, right?
But we were at like, I want to say we're like 250 to 300 yards from these bedded rams at this point. Or I was. They were back around the corner. I was up on top peeking down. They're all bedded out. And so I had aged one. One was for sure. And I had another one I couldn't see great, but I was like, that one's like probably good. But we want to shoot that one, But it was kind of one of those deals. I'm like playing in my mind like how I want to stock this. And it wasn't like a high percentage spot my route down to them, but I was like, man, if they go over there, that's like perfect.
Yeah.
And so I go get the client and I bring him up and I'm like, all right, so we're gonna I'm trying to explain to him how I want to stock these sheep, and then they just get up and go to the spot where I'm like, that's the spot they need to be. And I was like, we gotta go.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
we have to go right now. And I literally took off running straight down the mountain, and he's just like, what are we doing, But he came,
Yeah.
And we
Don't
get
ask questions.
we get
just
down
follow.
on the bench these things had been bedded on, they'd like went around the corner, and we get on the bench that they had been on, and I just as soon as we get there, I knew we had to hurry, and we did. But I caught a glimpse of white, and I just laid flat on my back, and he laid right next to me. I was like, "Do not move." And they come feeding right back to their bed. We're like laying in their beds now, and they're feeding back to us. And I mean, they're about to walk over the top of us. They're at like 15 yards, and they're walking straight at us. And he's like whispering, "What do I do?" I'm like, "You better get ready to draw." He's like, "How far?" I'm like, 20 yards, or like inside. I'm like inside 20, you know. And I was like, pretty sure they're gonna spook as soon as he drew, you know. But they were like, at this point, they're like from here to the wall.
So they're not expecting any danger within the vicinity.
And they see really good far, but I always feel like that's a little fuzzy up close, you know. And we're point blank. So I was like, if you're gonna do it, you better do it now. And he draws and sets up, and those things did like a horseshoe. Pause, and he just smoked one, just immediate. And I think he put his pin at like 25. He shot for 25 or something. But it just happened like in minutes.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It went from sitting back and watching these sheep to we have to run down the mountain right now and kill one.
Exactly.
And I know he thought I was out of my mind.
Until we realized what played out.
Yeah.
Which I bet that was epic.
Because
it was so epic.
Even when I killed my ram here, I had these sheep at like 400 yards, and my first approach down the hill was like super slow. But once I got in the bottom, it was literally like a ditch. And when I hit the bottom, they stood up and they started feeding. And I literally sprinted the entire like draw to get into that position, and then crawled up the other side. But it was like, it probably took me 45 minutes to crawl down that face, and then it took me a minute to cover 5 times the distance, you know. But it was like, just the situation was like, yep, like you said, it's time to go, time to roll. What do you think? So how many bow hunters are you still? Is that kind of your niche thing? Are you still taking the Dall bow hunters?
We had some kind of rule changes and stuff on an area. We had an archery only area that we guided a lot in. That's closed now to hunting.
Because it sounds like they're kind of hurting, right? I mean, the population.
Somewhat. There's a lot of politics involved in that too.
Okay.
So we're taking less bow hunters now. Still take some bow hunters though.
Okay. But you took quite a few in that.
I had kind of a stint for several years where it was like all bow hunters for a while.
What do you think your shot opportunity was at that point? I won't say success rate because that's very dependent on the human.
Yeah, I had 100% opportunity.
Okay.
Guys got arrows in the air.
How many of them missed?
I think I had one guy miss, and then.
What's his name?
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
No, it was a cool situation. But I had a guy miss. He actually missed twice, and then
same stock, same situation.
Different day, same hunt. Yeah, he ended up hitting one in the horn.
Stick.
It stuck for just a little bit.
Okay.
And then had another guy just kind of quit the hunt early.
Yeah,
he had some opportunity as well.
I was kind of wondering. Actually, I never thought of that as a question. In Australia, we had some guys. We do these like 10-day hunts, and everyone's gung ho, right? You're keen. You get going, and then man, like day 5, 6, they're pretty worn out, and by like day 7, they're over it. Like they're done. They're done. How often do you get that happen on the sheep hunt? I guess as you get more and more experience as a guide, you start to like you're scoping your guy immediately, right?
Yeah.
As far as
it sounds really bad, but like. When you watch a guy even just shoot his bow at camp before you leave, you pretty much can tell, like, if I get this guy on when he's going to kill it, or there's no way this guy's ever going to kill him.
Yeah.
You hate to say that and hate to stereotype, but there is a lot to be said for that.
We talked about that, I think, in one of our very first podcasts on, like, in South Africa, and this is common practice everywhere. We always get clients when they arrive in camp. Everybody goes to the range to check their rifles, make sure they didn't get bumped. Right, but really what it is the outfitter and the guides
being like, how
scoping,
far? Yeah.
Well, scoping, like, how do they handle pressure? Can they shoot well in front of all of us? How good a shot is the guy? Like, can he handle his gun quickly and acquire the target? Like, is he really proficient? Like, you can tell you can tell a surprising amount. Every now and then there's an outlier and someone will really surprise you.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you get a really good read on that. Yeah. But I mean, the conditions there are
the toughest thing there is the mental game.
Yeah.
You're going to have terrible weather. You're going to be wet and uncomfortable.
Days in a tent.
You might have 3 days straight.
There's also a frustration to that, right? Where you maybe get this client, he's got so much money in it, right? And you've burned a day, and then another day, and then another day, and he's starting to wig out a little bit, and you're having to like keep him in the saddle, and not.
Yeah, it's an interesting balance.
I bet it's really interesting, and then just physically as well. Guys getting worn out, and you start getting agitated, and you know.
It's interesting too. I mean, you obviously try to. You want your client to like you at the end of the hunt.
Yeah.
But you also have the job of pushing them past sometimes what they think that they're capable of.
Yeah.
And I do. I mean, I'm kind of wired weird, and I like doing really hard, dumb things. But I also like pushing people to do that as well.
Which a lot of them are probably appreciative of it,
Maybe not in the moment.
Yeah, in the end, though.
But usually they are at the end. So it took me a little bit, but your client may not like you every day. It's just the honesty of it. I mean, not that you're trying to be, whatever.
Yeah, because there's definitely a knack to that. You're guiding them into something, and obviously you do have to push on them sometimes, and be honest. Have to be pretty straight with some people sometimes, and that I can tell
and
that
then
from.
There's also the point where it's like, well, at the end of the day, they paid for the hunt, and if they don't want to go do that, then we're not going to go do it.
Yeah.
We had one of those here recently on a sheep hunt, but it was like we'd had terrible weather. We had a really short weather break, and it was going to get terrible again. And it was like midnight, and we finally found the ram. And it's like, we should probably go like right now. I know it's 5 miles over there, but we need to. That's our best play, No, we can't actually get him tonight, but maybe we can find him closer tomorrow, And didn't want to go, so I was like, well, all right, we'll see how it goes. And then we got weathered out for a few days, and some crazy stuff. So it's kind of a balance. Like, end of the day, they paid for it, and you don't want to totally make them uncomfortable, but you also got to try to push people a little bit.
It is interesting for sure, and I think as you spend more time guiding, you get a little older. You change as well. I remember when I started, you're like the young guy, so you're kind of. Your rules are loose, and then the more you do it, like you said, with that bear charging you, like every now and then you get these like free mistakes that you'll never make again, if they're serious, or could have been very serious. And I remember some of that stuff where there was some stuff where, I mean, you'd make accommodations for somebody there, it's like, oh, this guy I want, and in the end you've got these pretty blank rules. You're like never compromising on this, and then you just kind of, but you see it in a lot of different ones. The other thing you got in South Africa was kind of this real bravo, like macho thing you'd get from the guides, right? And the clients are very different as well. African clients obviously a little different than just a sheep hunter. Because that's quite niche, But it's interesting to see some of that interaction, and like how some people push people, whether it's really like guiding them and encouraging them into doing that, or literally like bullying them into it, and or I don't know. It's a unique.
But you
one.
find that balance, and like you said, if they don't want to walk 5 miles for a sheep, it's not your 40 grand that got spent. It's like
it's interesting too. I'm kind of at the age now where I do have some clients that are younger than I am.
Yeah.
So like those guys, I'm like, I'm going to push that guy as hard as I possibly can. Like he should be able to go, But then you have the guy that's like old enough to be my dad, and like, yeah, we'll go whatever pace you want to go, man.
Yeah,
like
just is what it
all
is.
you got to do is keep moving. Like, we'll get there, So you kind of cater to that to who you have as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a different thing. I mean, in sheep country compared to almost anything else. I mean, high country mule deer, you get it to this lesser extent, out of every. But I mean, geez, some of the places we have elk, it's the same thing. It's
still sheep
there's
country.
still lots of places that someone can't get into. In some of that, so you developed, and I know this because you're a toothbrush cutter.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your evolution in lighter weight backpacking, and then how does that relate to what you do solo, and then what does it relate to what guidance you give clients coming, right? That just because we've got gear, we've got the best gear
available.
Yeah, the gear is
right
amazing right now. Man, when I started, I never even weighed my packs. Like, I don't know, late 20s to not that long ago, but like mid 30s. Like, if I could stand up with it, I could outwalk anybody with it. That was just how I'm wired. I have no idea how or why. It's just the way God made me. I've carried loads that people probably wouldn't believe me if I told them how heavy they were. But I was just had that ability for some reason. And so I never really cared. Like, client can't carry that, throw it in my pack. Like, I would just do it. I don't know. But then, 2020, had back surgery.
Okay.
I had like 2 months where I pretty much laid around. Like, I wasn't supposed to walk, wasn't supposed to bend over, couldn't lift more than 2 pounds. And it was kind of a, shoot, how's this going to be going forward, We were actually calling Jonah, like, I was kind of having back surgery. Oh, man, don't worry, I'll be good to go by August. I'm still coming, not knowing how all was going to go or whatever.
Yeah.
But, so I had a ton of time to, like, really go through my gear. Like, all right, I'm not a big guy, obviously. So I'm like, where can I cut? What stuff do I never use in my pack? Like, we need to get bare bones here for this season. Like, I need to be as light as I possibly
So that didn't
can
come
get.
about from like your early backpacking days. It kind of, I mean, obviously it evolved, but you just didn't care. You were strong enough. Just put
I've
whatever
always
in your
been
pack
like
you
a
needed.
gear nut. So I always had like new
Stuff.
cool gear, and it was light stuff or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
But it wasn't like,
Really.
this
get
has to be like the lightest it can be, I had a lot more focus on my early days of comfort,
Okay.
and I liked having all the stuff.
Where is our balance now from what your experience is now? What are you balancing as far as comfort, food, security? Like, what's more important than other things that people should be considering when it comes to weight?
I pretty much anymore, I just hunt with my camp every day, everywhere I go.
Okay.
I want to be able to stop any place I want to be. I want to be able to, whatever, chase that sheep until I can't see it anymore and just go to sleep right there. Instead of, all right, where's camp? Oh, it's 5 miles over there. We got to go back over there.
Yeah.
Or like that random huge storm pops up in the middle of the day and just pop the tent up and crawl in.
Yeah.
That's, I guess, where my comfort is. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
I will go anywhere and do anything in any weather if I got, my shelter, sleeping bag, and my puffy clothes. Those are kind of my priority, I guess. I just feel like, if all hell breaks loose, pop up the tent, put my puffies on, crawl in my sleeping bag, and I can ride that out for days.
And that's your preference now, even for elk and high country mule deer? You like to move with your camp on your back within reason, but is it,
most all the time. Elk to some extent, I really like to just crawl out of the bag and be hunting, like just quick, early, and fast. And then I may grab, depending on how the morning pans out, I may pick my camp up at like 9.
I was going to say, that's like the hard part. Is like, that's the last thing I want to do at dark 30 in the morning is pick up
I was wondering
camp.
that.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a factor.
It depends on where I'm hunting and the situation, but it is terrible because you're packing this frosted up tent.
Yeah.
And a damp sleeping bag into your pack.
Yeah.
But I know me, I'm going to end up like 10 miles away, and I don't want to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it does depend on
But
the
it
situation.
depends on whether it's me hunting I've kind of adapted like how I hunt with clients and how I hunt with me, I guess. My solo hunting.
Yeah.
My solo hunting, I'm rolling out of the sleeping bag, shoving everything in my pack and going hunting.
All day with that thing on your back.
All day, every day, yeah.
But what does your pack weigh now, like on a solo hunt?
If I'm not guiding, it's probably in the 40 to 45 pound range on like, say, 5-day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that accounts for 5 days worth of food. So it's quite a lot. So it's pretty light then.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's your go-to for your food?
Pretty much, it varies year to year based on what I'm liking, but I kind of never pack bars anymore because I've had too many bars in my life.
I hate shoving those down. It's like
This last year, I honestly went really simple. My go-to had been like oatmeal in the for morning, coffee, kind of just a basic lunch like cheese, tortilla, whatever. I pack more real food these days, I guess, but kind of this year I did peanut butter and jelly for breakfast in a tortilla. I maybe would eat that for lunch too, with some jerky, maybe some dry fruit, and then I go heavy on the dinner. I'll pack like pre-cooked sausages. I'll boil a sausage, and then dump the water in my freeze-dry meal.
nice.
And do that for dinner.
Pretty heavy though. It's not really a light.
I pack
thing, but you're
heavier and more real food these days.
Yeah. It's funny. I also trended to that same thing. You kind of get burnt out on when I started, it was bars and junk food, right? It was like high energy, just high processed sugary sweets and stuff like that. And it's funny. It doesn't actually take that long. For over a couple of years, your body's like, man, I do not want to eat another Pro Bar. I don't want to eat another
I do
bar,
like my candy, but I've been trying to cut back on the candy.
Yeah, you kind of have to make something up. But
it's
anymore
nice
now,
to have
it's
like something to look forward to, you know?
Yeah, nuts and dates and jerky and salami and cheese and just like something that seems like it's. Do you do any dehydrated?
I kind of have got. Yeah, I do freeze-dried dinners.
Just meals, yeah.
What's your favorite?
I've kind of gotten to where I like pack X amount of food for each day, you know?
Yeah.
And I make sure I eat that. Like, I'm eating all of it.
Yeah.
Lightens my pack, and that's what I packed it for.
That's good advice.
I got tired of cutting back from a hunt, and you have all this random food left. You're like, man, I could have stayed out for 3 more days.
Yeah.
What did I carry all that stuff
I
for?
cheat that a little bit. So what I do is the same thing a little bit, where I'll calculate kind of what I feel like I think I need for a day. And then it might be like a 5-day hunt, right? So you have 5 of those in your pack or something. I know I'm never going to actually finish all of those. So I almost always know I've got 1 extra day.
Yeah.
Because then the first day you leave a bit of that. The second day you leave a bit of that. However, it is good practice. Thing is, it takes some time to know like how hard you're pushing yourself, how much do you actually need, how much can you actually eat to start getting your packs to a point where you've got just what you need, and then you eat it all. And there's quite a few guys that are strict with that, but you don't have to hunt with that many guys to, like, they open their snack bag, right? And you're like, holy cow, like, what did you factor in, is this for a week, or which part of you, and then they'll pound one thing, but you know what I mean? And it's kind of a...
But see, I always want 1 day, I always want 1 day left when I'm done, just for that reason. Like if I have to stay out, or if I'm like not done yet, like I always want.
Inevitably, I find that's the case. I think because you do. It's kind of weird when you say you almost have to like force yourself to eat what you put in your pack, because sometimes you're just
not hungry.
You just don't want to eat it.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I could go without lunch a lot if I need to.
Yeah.
And I'll kind of my sausages I pack. Like if I think I may extend the stay a little bit, maybe I'll save some of those.
So tell
for
me,
a couple
what are you
dinners.
using for? What are we talking here? Like a brat kind of thing that was totally
just
raw,
a pre-cooked one.
You cooked it at home.
They're kind of expensive, but like I don't know, 8 L's or something.
Yeah.
And they're like the pre-cooked. They're
Yeah.
super tasty.
Yeah.
Full of
Those are
flavor. I just boil one of those.
Yeah. And that gives you some extra.
So you just got a pack
there.
of those in a Ziploc or something, and you just pull one out, boil it.
Yeah, they come in like a 4-pack. So I'm like, well, there's.
You either chop that up, put the water in your dehydrated meal, chuck it in there with it, or you just eat the sausage.
I usually
straight.
just wrap it in a tortilla with cheese and eat that, then the freeze-dried meal.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome. What's your favorite freeze-dried meal, or do you freeze-dry your own?
I don't do my own. Hunter does some for me occasionally.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
they're always really good too. But I kind of gotten mostly the peak refuels for clients, and man, I'm gonna forget this newer company. There's a newer one out. Jeans has them in.
Really? Okay.
They're good, but those for client meals right now. Oh, Wild Society. This isn't the one at Jeans, but I do Wild Society for a lot of my client meals too.
Okay.
And they're like the best tasting, I think. I eat so much freezer though. I try to eat more healthy ones.
Yeah. I was gonna say
Especially
it'll
over a
wear
long
on you.
season.
I mean, on a week it'll wear on you, let alone a full
whole
guiding
season,
season. Yeah.
I'll do some of the Heather's Choice stuff for myself. I won't buy them for clients. They're too expensive. But
Heather's Choice. That's okay.
and
I've had
they're
some of
they're
their
pretty
stuff.
bland, but they do good. My stomach does good with them.
Yeah,
I'll mix
made
like
with pretty
powdered
clean ingredients.
bone broth in them. Give them
Yeah.
some salty flavor.
Started doing that a lot. Lots of bone broth.
Yeah. Bone broth is good. That's what I'd instead of a sausage, I'd usually like make myself a cup of bone broth, but like while my meal's cooking in a bag to sip on, you know.
What are you using now for your stove setup? You're primarily just boiling water. Are you a jet boil guy? Or are you using something different?
And, so kind of to get back to that kind of year I had back surgery, I was going
Yeah.
kind of nitpicking all my gear. It was kind of more or less a hobby to get me through being bored out of my mind, but I started making alcohol stoves.
Oh,
Okay.
right.
So
yeah.
I've been rocking that for going on
really?
6 years
You
now.
kept up with that.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that.
And I have about every other stove on the planet too. But if it's not the alcohol stove, I run just a little. I think the one I have now is like a Ollie Camp one, but it's just a tiny little three-legged, three-prong.
Yeah.
They weigh
Super
like
light.
1 ounce.
The screws right on the top of the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does the alcohol one work? Is that a tin with some kind of
yeah,
medium?
it's a little
medium
tin.
in it?
It's got like a ceramic insulation in it to absorb the alcohol, and then I
you
got a
got
little stainless steel
alcohol in it.
screen over it.
And your alcohol's in a separate bottle, and you put it in every time you use
Yeah,
it. Or-
what I like about it is I know exactly how much fuel I'm using. So
Yeah.
if I need to stretch that out, maybe I don't totally boil my water. Maybe I just get it warm that day because I want to conserve some
kidding.
fuel.
Yeah.
So I keep it in usually like a little 2-ounce squeeze bottle,
okay.
and it depends on where I'm at and what I'm doing, but I'll put like half of an ounce in. If I can get by with a half of an ounce of fuel for a meal, then it's probably not going to boil, but it'll be hot.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah, that is. I mean,
but if I want-
like you
can't be that
said,
many
being
guys
able to
doing
know how much fuel you
can
have,
physically
because
see it. What fuel is it that you're using? Is it just,
The best I have found is heat, like the yellow bottle of fuel additive.
okay?
It burns the cleanest, fastest. I got my fastest boil time with it, and it doesn't like sit up your stuff. It's pretty clean burn.
I'd like to see that sometime.
yeah, it's super cool.
Then it's just a little tin, and I make a little titanium triangle basically that sets over the top of it, and you set your pot on there, and that ends up being my coffee cup as my pot.
So you're using like a titanium
Little
kinda
titanium
Snow
cup.
Peak or whatever,
Yeah.
kind of just straight with a little lid on it, and that's it. Everything
Yep.
goes in that.
Yep.
That's
Okay.
awesome. I mean, that's because I don't know how many half cans of fuel I have sitting around because I'm just like, I'm not bringing that. I'm not, I don't know how much is in
The
here.
jet
but
boils and MSR's wind burner, those are super popular, and they're awesome, fast boiling. Everybody always ends up taking way more fuel than you need, so you got that added weight. I don't know. It's kind of a wash. Longer trips, kind of where I figured is out on a shorter trip, your alcohol stove's lighter. If you're going to be out for like two weeks or something, probably should just pack the canister stove.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Kinda.
interesting.
But see, I don't
What
even
else?
know how much. I don't even know like one of the small canisters as opposed to the big canisters. I don't actually know how many meals I can get out
Quite
of
a
it.
lot. You'd be surprised. We figured that out. I spent quite a lot of time burning run time, and of course it always varies because
Yeah,
the can's
wind
cold and
and-
vice
yeah.
versa. But I mean, Nige and I can go a week on one small tin. You
For
know,
two
one
guys.
coffee in the morning, one meal at night. That's the only time we use it. And,
Yeah.
So you can get by with that. Of course, in bad weather, you start
Yeah.
drinking coffees in the middle of the day and stuff. You can
I
definitely
like
go
my
through it.
extra coffee.
I know.
That's
Yeah.
where I manage my
That's
fuel
one of your,
consumption.
That's one of your morale boosters as well. There's
yeah.
nothing better than like a hot drink of some sort.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other benefit with the alcohol, so like one ounce of that fuel will burn for 20 minutes.
Dang.
Okay.
So it's not like super hot, but it's burning for a long time. So
Okay.
when you get in those situations where you like are melting snow for water,
Yeah.
it's awesome because you're not.
Yeah.
You're, like
Yeah.
you can burn through a little
Blasting
canister
through. Yeah.
in an afternoon melting snow.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Okay.
So I like it in that
What
factor.
what's your go-to for water filter?
A lot of times for probably 15 years I've used the Aqua Mirror drops.
Okay.
I have the last couple of years been carrying a little filter, either the Catadine like squeeze filter
Yeah.
or what's that new one, like the coffee press
Grail.
looking. I got a Grail. That's my new go-to.
That's what I've been using.
I got
and
the
it's-
small one, and if I'm hunting solo, I got the titanium one, and
Right.
that's my coffee cup, it's my pot, and then my water filter all in one.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, which is awesome to kind of bring everything down to less. Yeah,
I still use the drops primarily. I'll fill up like a gallon bag at night, and put drops in it, and be good. But I like the filter I don't like carrying water while I'm hunting too much.
I know it's a
So
lot
like
of weight.
I'll cross a little bit of water, I'll fill that thing up, squeeze it, chug it, put it away.
Yeah.
I started using the Be Free squeeze bottle that like lots of the Ultra Runner
Yeah,
guys
that's
use.
the other one.
That's freaking.
That's the other one I started
Because
using.
I always had. I've tried all the other ones, and I hunted with a guy that had that. And I just spent like 5 days, and I was like, that works. So same
Yeah.
thing. You can literally like run past, just scoop it up, close the lid, and then just drink it as you go.
Yeah.
And then when you are in camp, you can just. That one does work really well.
One of my sheep hunting clients, also an ultra runner, showed up with one of those, and I bought one as soon as I got home.
Because when I saw it, I was like, that doesn't look good. And then the first day I was like, yep, that's a
Money.
no brainer.
Yeah.
I did switch to the Grail one just because it's
You can kind of condense what you have.
Yeah, it's my pot, my cup, my everything.
I got to look at those. I haven't seen them.
They're
Yeah.
too expensive, but they're nice.
Okay.
They are awesome.
Okay.
Fast.
Yeah, and that's the thing too is like for a while I used an MSR like pocket filter. I mean to fill an Nalgene, I'm in a creek
Some
for
of those
like
are.
10 minutes. I'm like,
I've still got some
holy
buddies
moly.
that hunt with the old school like pump ones, and you watch them go get water, and 30 minutes later the guy's still there, just
Yeah.
like trying to fill up. It's like, man,
Yeah.
a
lot of
you're
work.
also burning a lot of energy doing
Yeah.
Kind of I guess get back on like the condensing your gear though. I think most people like pack gear for like they just pack double of things, kind of worst case scenario kind of stuff. Biggest thing for me is just getting minimal. Like I'm wearing the clothes I'm hunting in. I have puffy pants, a puffy coat, raincoat, and rain pants.
Yeah.
It's all the clothes
Yeah.
I
Same.
take.
Okay.
Usually it's shorts and a sun hoodie is kind of my hunting clothes, and then got the other stuff.
Anything in your pack you do take double? You take double headlamp?
Depends on what I'm doing. My headlamps are like rechargeable, so I typically just have the one, but I do carry an extra rechargeable battery, so
Okay.
I don't have to wait for it to charge if I'm in a bind.
That's the one thing I double up on. I always have 2 headlamps just because I've got caught a couple of times, and in the dark you're kind of screwed without another one. But that's assuming
Yeah.
it breaks, and then over 5 years I've been carrying a spare headlamp that I haven't needed, right? It's
Yeah.
always one of those. My
Yeah.
first aid kit also was like, pretty legit, and now it's freaking,
We say catastrophic only, you know.
and that's as
My first aid kit is like a tiny little like stitchless stitch kit, so it's got like some blood clotter and some of that kind of stuff, and super glue.
Yeah, I know. Mine's Leuco tape, maybe a couple of like the old school like thick canvas band-aids.
Yeah.
And it's got painkillers, strong painkillers. Like if you snap your ankle, it's just like that'll get you back to the truck.
I have a non-negotiable tourniquet in mine for sure. It's light enough.
That's going in mine.
Yeah.
I saw one of those. I need to pick up, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna have one of those in mine too.
Yeah, and I
They don't
heard
weigh-
they
they don't weigh
expire,
anything.
but yeah,
That's
I
also
don't-
one of those items I know. That's also one of those like you're so unlikely to ever need it. However, the one time
Right.
you need it, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah,
just
exactly.
I've not carried one of those. I've even had guys give me those, and I'm just like, I don't know.
But like you said, it weighs nothing. Like it fits.
The one
in
I
my-
saw was like rubber, tiny. One of the other guides I work with had one. I was like, that's probably a decent idea.
Yeah, no, it's just like it was actually when JD Coonsey ran.
Especially with
Havilon through
everybody
his
running,
leg.
running Havilons
Yeah.
and scalpel blades nowadays.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, you won't even feel that blade go in you by the time that thing hits an artery. You know, it's like
Like everybody has their own systems too. Like primarily, I do not. Clients don't help me skin and cape animals and
Yeah.
stuff. Like, I've never cut an animal for that person before.
yeah,
I'm doing it all,
yeah,
and that saves a lot of potential mishaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting. It's interesting you
Brad,
said that.
There's very few people I will cut up an animal with.
And I know that too. You know, it's kind of interesting. I mean, we've been on several hunts before, and it's kind of the same thing because I like to cut on stuff as well.
Yeah.
But it's like when I get in there and start cutting, you can't have a guy on your right and your
Yeah.
left also cutting.
yeah.
You just
It's
can't,
just
you know,
like
it's
too.
just-
Well,
yeah.
even on my moose, when you guys came to help me, there's so many people cutting. I like
Yeah, you
stepped
do
back.
have
I
to
was
kinda-
like, yeah. But Brad Phelps always says, always cut towards your buddy, and it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting as a rule, though. Yeah, I mean that's kind
But
of.
you can have them help you hold a leg or whatever, but not with a knife.
It's kind of interesting too on the gear thing, but I mean our gear nowadays is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Oh.
amazing, and we rarely ever actually use it to what it's designed to do.
Yeah.
So you end up carrying more than you need. But I think finding that like this is the bare minimum that I need. Maybe I'm not gonna be like perfectly comfortable, but
Yeah.
It's a balance.
make
you
it
know?
with this.
It is for sure. Every year we go through that as well.
Yeah.
I'll take a little extra weight for comfort on a longer hunt. You know, whereas before I'd have like a super light pad and stuff like that. Now it's like, man, I'd almost carry like an extra whole pound to sleep good for 5 or 6 nights, just because it's like I feel like the trade-off of like not burning out as quickly over that, but it's a trade-off, right? I don't know, and everybody's different personally, because
I went
like
to, like,
what's a rough night of sleep for you might be totally different for me. You know, someone
Yeah.
might wake up in the morning and be like, I feel great. You know?
Yeah.
And so it is just it's
Yeah.
definitely a factor. But I mean, even every time at the trailhead, even Nige and I have been hunting together forever. You know, it's like you pull your pack out of the truck and you're like, you sure there isn't something else we can't take out of here? Because
Yeah.
it feels like we got too much stuff. And you
Yeah.
always have too much stuff.
Yeah.
You know, at least we do. We make that error. I'm sure. But I've seen photos of you and like Hunter and stuff like that, where some of your setups, and I'm like, that's legitimately minimalist.
Yeah.
I
That's,
think
that's like
Like
right.
you said, toothbrush
That's
cutter.
the bare minimum.
the way I hunt, everybody's different. I hunt solo. That's what I love. I love hunting solo. I like hunting with my buddies when they have tags.
Yeah.
But when I have a tag, like I might call you if you want to come help me pack it out or
Yeah,
something.
but
But like
you
I'm
wanna
going
be-
hunting.
Yeah.
And part of that is my aggressive nature of hunting. And the other part of it is that I haven't hunted with many people that can keep up with me when I'm hunting. When I'm hunting my tag, I'm going to go at whatever pace I want to go. Like
Yeah.
I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to chase it up to the top of that and then back down and back up and back down again, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And I think you're more aggressive, take bigger risks, and do more stuff when you're solo. And I've always
sure.
enjoyed it. But
Definitely.
with that, like I want to be able to carry, if it's obviously an elk, I'm not carrying it out in one load. But if it's like a sheep, goat, deer, I'm going to carry that thing out with my camp all at the same time. I'm not going back and forth on that. So the lighter my initial gear is, the better off I am with fitting that whole
Sure.
animal in my
Yeah.
pack and coming out.
Yeah.
So that has something to do with it.
But like we were just talking about this the other day, that I mean, I do like hunting with people too, but if you have something in mind that you want to do and they throw in like a different,
Yeah, maybe
different
this, maybe we
idea,
should do this,
then
maybe
it
we should
kind
do
of
that.
changes your perspective of like, as opposed to just going to do it. Like your gut tells you to do it, just go do it.
And
you
it
know?
doesn't always work out. You might have made a
Right.
terrible decision and blew everything
Yeah,
off
but
the
you're by
mountain.
yourself.
But it was
You
your,
just- yeah,
There's
it's
nobody-
your fault.
yeah, it
it
was your
doesn't
decision.
matter.
Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, you just like, unlucky.
Yeah.
Move on with it.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's no finger pointing.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the biggest weight saving things though, I did my sleeping pad is not the lightest, but it has a 9 R value. It's a winter sleeping pad. So that's where all your body heat goes, is out your pad generally.
Yeah.
So when you have a good pad, you can have a lighter sleeping bag.
Okay.
And then I plan on sleeping in every bit of clothes that I bring. Yeah. That's part of my sleeping bag.
Yeah. So you're cutting weight from
your
bag
puffies.
by
you're
having
sleeping
a
in
more
your puffies.
My puffies are part of my sleep system.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of my stuff here, and even my kind of early season in Alaska, I got like an 8-ounce down sleeping bag liner. I'll put my puffies on inside of that thing. I have a light bivy in that. And
what are you using for the pad?
The Winter Neo Air, Thermarest Neo Air.
Okay.
Because I got a Neo Air, but it wasn't I don't think it was that one. And
I haven't seen that.
It popped on me the first night.
I have a love-hate with the Neo Airs. They're kind of noisy, but the Winter Neo Air is way lighter than any other company's Winter one.
Yeah.
With per R value. And it's extremely noticeable, and you can get away with a lot lighter sleeping bag.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. My old Exotherm one, I don't even think that thing is 9. It's like the heavy duty one, but it's probably 15 years old now.
Yeah.
The other thing, depending on what you're doing, and if you're in the snow and stuff, just like that foil face bubble wrap from Ace Hardware. That you throw that underneath you.
Underneath the pad.
All your body, it just reflects all your body heat back at you.
I've never tried that. What I started doing was like the very thin closed cell foam pad that you sometimes see in like packaging to like protect surfaces. I'll take a piece that's like a 4x4 and I use that to stand on in the vestibule all the time so I can get in and out without being wet there, and it weighs freaking nothing. But I never. So you just take that and just roll it up like a little sausage. And
if I'm in the snow, I really like to have that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. In the snow.
It does a lot.
How much tent backpacking are you doing on the snow, Connor?
Yeah, my rule is after September, it's over, dude. We're
backpacking. Backpackers here.
I love backpacking in September. As soon as that snow starts coming down, I'm like, I will drive 4 hours and hike 2 hours to sleep in my own bed.
We had a really cool second season backpack kind of a couple years ago. It was a good one.
Was that the one you guys filmed? Was it that one?
Yeah. Just had a good, tough client, perfect guy to push hard.
Yeah,
I pushed him.
Some gnarly stuff.
I didn't see that. Is that
hard.
on YouTube?
It should be on YouTube now. I was on the Outdoor Channel.
Oh, sweet.
But it was like single digits at night, and we were high. It snowed like a foot, and I was a little dishonest with how far we were going to go, probably. But I knew if I actually told him the true distance, we wouldn't go, There was a shorter route, but success rate was probably small. And I wanted to go like the 100% success route, so we did it. But we had a full, really long, dark to dark day of post-holing.
Yeah, it looked...
And up high.
It looked epic. You could tell everyone was worn
this is
out by the end.
This is like post-holing on top of scree and rock, so you couldn't tell when you're going to fall in the rocks and fall over. And it was pretty brutal. But I had like my spot in mind I wanted to make it to so I could locate this bull the next morning, and we're like a mile short and the sun dropped. And as soon as the sun dropped, the temperature was plummeting.
Oh, yeah.
And immediately I was like, we're soaked. We've been pushing hard, and those guys were worked like 4 miles ago. Like, I have to get camp set up right now. Like, it is like dire need. Closest thing to a flat spot. Here we go.
Yeah.
And I was setting up my tent and had like a floorless seek outside tent, setting up and trying to get stakes in the frozen ground and snow, and whatever, got it up. But I got to the point I couldn't move my fingers, I'm like froze, and I know these guys are toast. But get it up, and frost is forming on the tent while I'm setting it up. It's so cold, and we had the right gear we needed though and stuff. And I just told those guys, like, just get in, get all your get your wet clothes off, get your puffy clothes on, get in your sleeping bag, like put your water bottles in your sleeping bag because they're gonna freeze solid tonight, and get in there, and we had no water, just the snow around us. So I'm melting snow, and
You got a stove? You got the stove in the seat outside?
yeah, not the wood. I had the wood stove with me actually, but there was no trees anywhere. So
So it doesn't help you much.
yeah. So I'm actually using my alcohol stove and using a great deal of my alcohol, but I knew we'd be at woods the next day, and I could use that.
Yeah.
So I'm melting snow, and like these guys are so worked. Hunter was tough. The camera guy was tough. They're so worked. Like, I gotta tell them like, you have to eat. You have to drink that, and you have to eat.
Yeah.
They didn't want to.
Yeah, you just don't
like
feel
force
like
feeding them, and they're just like, they force it down, and they're immediately like snoring. They're just out. And I think I spent half the night melting snow just so we could have water the next morning. But it was like one of those deals where like I pushed them harder than I probably should have. And I was just like, this better work,
Yeah.
Like in my mind when we left, it was like, this is 100%, like it's gonna work. And then I had that moment of doubt, like, man, if this doesn't work, they're gonna hate me, And they probably hated me most of the hunt until we killed the bull. But we ended up the next morning, and it was cold, but we get up and we locate the target bull, and then it was like, okay, sweet, but it looked like he was just right there. But it took us the whole day to get down out of this stuff and get above him. And then we got set up again, kind of in the timber, and I'd about burned all my fuel. I'm running my wood stove outside of the tent, melting snow for water. But we locate the bull again at dark, but it's like too late to make a move. He's like 800 yards away, but the country we're in, that's a long ways to move.
Yeah.
But so spend another night there, and we're able to shoot the bull the next morning. But
Sweet. Good bull?
Good bull, like 330s bull.
Wow, yeah, that's awesome.
But it was, some freezing winter backpack hunting.
Yeah, that is not up my alley for sure. I'll just be straight up.
For sure. And especially the rock that you guys are climbing over.
I bet if you ask him today, though, he'd say that's the best hunting.
I'm sure. Okay, so how do people find this on YouTube? What do they search to find this?
Man, I don't know what
crazy guy takes guy's backpack hunting
episode it is, but the show's called The Most Wanted List.
Okay.
Christy Lee Cook and Lee.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
So who was the hunter?
Lee Orr was the hunter.
Okay. Yeah.
Christy's husband.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, yeah, but what an experience.
It was a kind of a goofy hunt. They had just had a baby, and the country we were going in, Christy couldn't come in on it with us and whatnot. So Lee was the hunter on it. She'd actually drew the tag as well, but turned it in.
Gotcha.
Because it was just not going to be logistics.
That's
to both
crazy. I mean, but that's also awesome to like push somebody that's like, like a hunting celebrity almost, to push them like, this is what we have to do here to like get it done. You know what I mean? Like, because he's been on
for
a lot of hunts and a much easier hunts than that.
No kidding.
Like
it was
a
fun hunt.
It'll be one of his hardest earned elk for sure.
Yeah.
The way that all worked is the first year I was permitted to outfit, they called and asked if I wanted to do an elk hunt, and I got my permit so late in the year that I didn't have anybody booked. I kind of inherited a couple deer hunts, but I really didn't have anybody booked, and I really couldn't advertise. So I was like, man, that is like not really what I'm into doing at all.
Yeah.
But I guess I don't got nothing else going, so let's do it. But they showed up, and their tag was a private land only tag, which we didn't know until the day before the hunt. I don't have land. I don't know people with land. Nobody lets you hunt their land.
I was gonna say,
That's a whole nother story. But through like a fishing client and a friend, and we got on some land, and marginal land for good land, but not for the time of year we had this tag.
Yeah.
And so we hunted this land, and we ended up shooting a bull the last day. It was like God just dropped this bull in the middle of this property for us to shoot, and we shot it.
That's awesome.
And they made a show out of it, and it was fine. And I was like, I will do one more hunt, and it's going to be a real one.
The proper
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, because this is
And
not.
he's
This
like,
is not.
sounds
This is not
good.
my.
This is not
my
yeah,
outfit.
Yeah. That is not the representation I want for Alpine Outfitters.
Yeah.
But you got that representation,
So
didn't
we
you?
got the real one, so it was cool.
Yeah, that's fun. That's
Oh
awesome.
man, that is I want to watch that one now, but I mean,
It's so short and there's like so much cut out, but you kind of get the vibe. Like
Yeah.
it was hard.
I watched it. I enjoyed it. It was a good show for sure. You could
Yeah.
tell it was no joke either. I mean, it doesn't actually. If you've been in that same country, it's even worse than the video makes it look.
yeah.
Like it's. Some people look at that and probably be like, "That's probably not that bad." It's like, no, it was worse. Than
Yeah,
that.
it was horrible, and then you had snow on top of it, and
Yeah.
sleeping in the man.
It sucks when it's dry.
I mean, in a floorless tent too, so you're like using the snow as like insulation until you're melting it for drinking water.
I had some ground tarps and stuff.
Okay, all right, man, that is just nuts. I mean, but you are one of the craziest guys I know. I mean, you do push like this dude when he's doing ice fishing. As soon as there is ice on a lake, it doesn't matter how thick it is, he's out there.
And we didn't even cover some of your ice fishing stuff with, some of your huge lake trout and how that's all been going. But yeah, so people can come out here, they can fish monster lake trout, they can hunt mule deer with you, they can go to Alaska and hunt with you. And yeah, it's quite the arsenal.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a lot of ways people can spend time with
How do
you for sure.
I don't know if I've met somebody that keeps as busy as you, like from sun up to sundown.
He was up at 3 a.m. this morning.
I mean, nonstop with multiple jobs, multiple businesses. You got a family, you got a bunch of kids. Like, how do you do that?
I don't know, man.
I mean, you're just burning the candle at both
Yeah.
ends, and it just doesn't seem to run out.
I don't
It's
know.
pretty impressive. I mean, I've only known you for 6 or 7 years or something like that, and I've always, like, every time I come away from whatever it is you're doing, I'm like, I don't know how he keeps up with that.
I will say that Amy's got a big part of that for sure, holding down
100%. I have
the anchor.
I have absolute superwoman for a wife, and she does a lot.
Yeah.
All the booking stuff. She's the office for everything. All the bookkeeping, all the phone calls, all the
with kids screaming in the background.
while homeschooling our 4 kids, she does it all.
Crazy. Yeah.
The vacation rental business, we're actively trying to get out of it right now. It's for sale, but that's 100% all her. She does all of it.
That's so awesome. Yeah, you've got a good camp that supports you in whatever you do, and I mean that's most of the battle right there is having that camp behind you, having that support.
Yeah.
100%.
That's pedal to the metal.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so you've got a
I
lot.
don't
you've got a lot
know
done.
either. I don't think I know any different. Like I've been going hard for a while.
Yeah.
It's just kind of the way
Yeah,
I
it's
do
fun.
it.
It's fun to meet someone like that that's driven like
I
that.
think too. I mean, if I'm at home too much, my wife's like, "You got to get out of here." Like,
That's hilarious.
I'm kind of like my
don't-
GSP, my little bird dog.
Yeah.
Like you can't sit around the house too long. Like you just got to get out and run. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's probably why you resonate with those things because they are wired that way for sure. What else? Sorry.
I was gonna ask what, like, in all of your guiding, this can be fishing, this can be Alaska, this can be here. What is the most meaningful experience that you've had guiding?
Man, I could go like a ton of directions with that. I've had like really cool moose hunt in Alaska. It was probably one of the hardest things I've done solo.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was that solo one.
Just pure work wise, it was so much work solo. But had a really cool archery sheep hunt with a guy. I've been really blessed with a lot of really cool hunts. But had one archery hunt. I don't remember how many days it went, but arrow didn't hit the mark on the first shot, and for a variety of
On the sheet.
a variety of reasons and stuff. We trailed that thing for like 56 hours before we got a second shot in it. We were far enough down the road of following this thing, like client thought it was never happening. He'd already like called his family, said it was done, and we didn't get it, and we were just leaving, and ended up pulling it out and getting it. That was a really rewarding hunt. Just the full gamut of emotions, and not sleeping and chasing the sheep all around Tarnation and actually getting it was cool. But now, like hunting with my kids, like my daughter's first deer with her bow, like I'll never forget that hunt. It was just a doe, and that hunt was so cool.
Because she was what?
She's
13, 14?
12 years old, you know?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that's going to be a whole new chapter, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. It's a whole nother level of excitement. It's crazy. I can't explain it. But it was cool. Like, kind of went through the full gamut with her as far as not knowing if she was gonna hunt or wanted to hunt, and I wasn't gonna force her to hunt by any means. Give my kids opportunities to do things, and if they don't want to do it, then we won't do it, you know. But it's still wise to like kind of prod and push a little bit, and so you can try new things. But she kind of went from like, I'm never hunting and I hate hunting and why would you ever kill something, to got her a bow at like 11, and she just likes shooting the bow, you know. And then went to put in for tags, and she's like, hey, I'm going to put you in for some tags, put you in for some points. I'm going to do it as long as you live here. You don't have to hunt. And you don't have to hunt if you draw a tag. We'll turn it in.
Yeah.
But getting preference, we're getting preference points, and you have the option if you ever want to do it.
Yeah.
And she's real quiet and reserved and didn't really say much about it. And then the archery deer tag comes in the mail, and I was on the boat guiding, and Amy's like, Charlie is pumped. Like, this deer tag came in the mail. I'm like, oh, we're hunting. Sweet, you know? And then I'm like, man, should my kid's first hunt be archery, you know? Like, the odds of success on this are, like, slim.
Yeah.
So we went through, like, the whole, like I don't know any other 12-year-old girls archery hunting mule deer, spot and stock, and the high Alpine. Like, this isn't something a lot of kids do, you know? I was like, if you don't get one, like, so we're talking this whole through all season, like, if you don't get one, it's not a big deal. Like, we're just going to go have a good time.
Yeah.
When we're going to stock everything.
Yeah.
I mean, big bucks, little bucks, does, it don't matter. We see it, we're going to stock it.
Yeah.
And that's what we did, and had opportunities on some big stuff, and had opportunities on some does and stuff. And then got down to the last day of the season, and we're kind of in the timber mix, kind of timber sage kind of country, and got some deer working up towards us, and they kind of get behind a tree, and she's just uphill of me. And well, I'll backtrack a little bit. When we first went out, first part of the season, 20 yards, that's where we're shooting.
Yeah.
We sat 30 yards from a 175-inch buck for 2 hours.
And did her youth tag, it could be
It was
either?
it's not a youth tag, but the unit we were hunting is either sex.
Gotcha, okay.
And on my end, I'm like, I could kill this buck like all day, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm like, we can't. Like, we practiced, and she was shooting good at 20, and 20 was the rule we set.
And I remember you saying, like, just how much weight she's pulling back. That thing's like, like it's,
yeah, I mean, she was pulling, 37 pounds, 35's minimum.
Yeah.
And we had a heavyweight arrow, and that thing is just like, I broke her sight, so I ended up stealing a Spot Hog 7-pin off of my bow and throwing on hers. And I barely had to move the pins for 5-yard increments. So she had 7 pins out to 40.
Gotcha, yeah.
If that, so I mean, those suckers are lobbing. So we had some stuff, like some shots. It was a learning curve for me, like hit some limbs. Like I was like, how in the world was that arrow so high? You know, like I tell her, I'm like, that's on me. Like I shouldn't have had you shoot. Like I didn't.
Yeah.
And so we had some of that stuff. But backtrack, before we went out I had to guide a bunch. We hunted the first part of the season and the end. Before we had it, after that day of sitting on that 175-inch buck, she's like, I'll be able to shoot 40 next year. I'm like, sweet.
Nice.
But heading out the end of the season, she'd been shooting 40, practicing. I'm like, well, let's go shoot 40 before we leave, you know, just so we know where you're at. And she like stuck 2 arrows like that at 40. I'm like, all right.
Time to go.
So we'll see how it pans out. But anyways, these deer are coming up, and sure enough, they're like right at 40. And it's the last day of the season. I'm like, shoot, I'm gonna let her fling one, if it happens. And she's just uphill of me, and I'm like, you better go ahead and draw. So she draws, and then they stop, and they're behind this tree for what seemed like eternity, And I glance at her, and she's still holding, and look at the deer, they're not moving. And I couldn't see quite as well as she could because she was just uphill of me, and she just, like she'd been hunting for 30 years, calm as a cucumber, just like, Daddy, are they still 40? I was like, yes. And she shot. I couldn't even see the deer quite yet because I was downhill of her. And in that split second, it was like, she's been hunting her whole life. It was like this unbelievable cool moment.
Yeah, composure,
Yeah.
focus.
And I could hear the arrow hit, but I couldn't see from my angle. And she was just like, I think I got it good. Like, sweet,
That's so awesome.
And then we sat back, and it didn't go too far. She'd smoked it.
Yeah, I mean, but like you said, that is definitely. I mean, you've hunted all over and had some really cool hunts, but that's definitely the most rewarding. Like being able to see like a reflection of you and your kid making that happen is pretty sweet.
That was cool. That was way cool.
Yeah, I mean that's
got to hunt with Jessie last year, my other daughter. She wants to hunt something with horns this year.
Yeah.
Jessie, actually, another really cool hunt. She was my biggest deer to date. She was with me at 3 years old, high country mule deer hunt. Had her in the backpack all day.
That's cool.
Shot this 183-inch buck at 15
Nice.
yards.
That's so cool.
With her sitting on your back.
So I took her out of the pack. It was girls just are wired a little different than little boys.
Yeah.
And she's a little quiet angel at 3 years old.
Yeah.
But I mean, she's like in a dress, like a camouflage dress. Like it is funny. I still wish I had this documented better. But I got home from Alaska, and it's like, I got to spend some time with the kids. But it's deer season. I'm like, Charlie's going with me this day, and Jessie's going with me tomorrow, And
Yeah.
we camped and hiked in. Found the deer. It was kind of bedded below these cliffs. I mean, we're at like 13 something. But do this huge hike around the bowl to get above it. And she's in the backpack then, but we get about 60 yards from the cliff band, and I pull her out of the backpack, and we're whispering, and I'm like telling Jessie, I mean, she's tiny. I'm like, I'm going to hold your hand, and we're going to walk over there. When I stop holding your hand and point at the ground, you have to sit down and do not move, So I kid you not, man, I got an arrow knocked, and I'm holding my little girl's hand with my finger. She's holding on to my finger, and we're walking up to this cliff band. And at this point, I hadn't seen the deer in a long time, I'm like just assuming they're still bedded there, but I can't check and then draw.
Yeah.
So we get right up to the edge, and I point at the ground, and she sits down, and I go to full draw, and I took like a step and a half, and the bucks were up feeding. Actually shot, I think, the second biggest buck in the group, but at point blank and them up feeding, it was just the one that was in front of me.
Yeah.
After I hit it, I was like, I think that one was bigger, but I don't really
Still
care.
a nice
Yeah.
buck. I mean,
That's
But
wild.
just smoked it.
She's just quietly sitting
yeah,
right
she's just
there.
sitting there. I'm like,
Yeah.
This is so
That's
cool.
I know. The problem is once you get beyond 3 years old, though, it's like I can't fit my kids in the backpack anymore.
And
so
they're
they
not
have,
quiet.
yeah. The Cannon is not quiet. Harper's quiet, but like
Yeah.
you said, the girls are just wired a little differently. Like my daughter was always super quiet. Cannon, it's like, man, dude.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
a really cool
It's funny
experience.
too, though. Like your older kids seem so much older at younger ages because
Yeah.
they're your oldest.
Totally, yeah.
I've seen that with mine now. I'm like, man, Declan hasn't done some of this stuff yet. He's
Yeah.
already 7, you
Yeah.
know, and I'm trying to get him into doing some stuff now. But it's like Charlie had a lot more, just different experiences at a
Yeah.
younger age because
Yeah.
she seemed older than she was.
And you had more time, and
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, as little time as you had, you still had more time with one kid. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is like, That's epic. And okay, so what about Charlie's hunting future? What does she think about bow hunting now after that?
She shot another deer last year with her bow, so
Okay.
she's 2 for 2 now.
She's all in.
She's liking it. It's obviously hard to draw tags around here, so we're kind of balancing the opportunity.
Yeah.
She hunted her first rifle hunt last year, got a bull elk.
Nice. And she's
14.
14. Okay.
Jesse ended up shooting a cow and a doe last year. I think she has some interest in. She has a bow and shoots it too. Just a totally different kid. She's not quite strong enough to draw.
Yeah, but you
illegal.
said she's a hiker, huh?
She's a
Jesse
hiking
is.
machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's on my heels everywhere I go.
Yeah. So that's the one person that can keep up with you when you're hunting. That's good.
She does good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's just a whole nother game and fun. But we kind of this year for Charlie, put her in for a rifle elk tag, and if she doesn't draw, we're gonna pick up a archery OTC.
Sweet. Cool.
So we upped her bow to max and got it ready for elk hunting.
Which is max is
She's pulling like 50.
sweet.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good going.
Yeah.
14.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And shoots it well, it sounds like too.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
pretty fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you guide in Unit 66 for, I'm just going to say that, so if people draw tags as the applications are coming out and they're looking for an outfitter, that's where you're going to be at. As far as sheep units, what sheep units are you allowed to guide?
So I'm permanent all the time in S33.
Okay.
G5, parts of G5 for goat. I've had great luck pulling temporary permits for sheep, goat, and moose in other
Basically
units.
wherever.
Yeah, I hold permits through every agency, so I can generally pull special use permits for one of the big 3 there.
Okay.
They're as long as they generally don't have any reason to not special use permit
Yeah.
you.
Okay. Cool. So
I think they finally got on page in the state. Like those guys are going to hunt with who they want to hunt with.
Yeah.
So might as
Yeah.
well
Yeah.
let them do
And-
it legally and charge for it.
I mean, as these draw results come out, and you think you're a go getter, Seth's your guy. That's it. That's who you're gonna want to go with. I mean, but you're gonna get these. You're gonna get these men and women on more opportunities because of the way that you hunt than most people. It might be harder, but that's an earned hunt. You know
I
what
like
mean?
to think so. We definitely have really high success rates.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
opportunity for
And
sure.
you find out who you are, the harder you push yourself, you know.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about hunts that you remember the most,
Oh, yeah.
they're not the easy ones.
It's always the
They're
suffer
always the
fest.
ones you suffer. Yeah, like the
Yeah.
hardest hunts are the ones
Yeah.
you remember.
Oh yeah, the easy ones are like very forgettable, but yeah.
That moose hunt I had in Alaska. It wasn't like some amazing hunt. I mean, it was cool. Don't get me wrong. Moose aren't like the hardest thing to hunt in the world.
Yeah.
It was cool stalking in, shooting one at 12 yards.
Yeah. Oh,
But-
I imagine.
Like the amount of work getting that thing out of the field was insane.
Yeah, especially bone in. You had to be
Yeah.
bone in that area too. Pack the whole
Bone in
shebang
and
out. How long was that pack?
So much.
solo. So I was like 2 miles each way, but once you do 8 trips and whatever, it's like 32 miles or something like that with all the out and backs. But that's the one animal, like, man, you walk up on that and you're like, holy cow, what did I just
Yeah. What did I get myself into?
do? Like, you think elk are big, but the best thing for doing that, though, you come home, you're like, elk are easy. Like,
yeah.
elk are easy.
Yeah. Totally. And then you look at deer and you're like, I can definitely get that on
Put
a
that in my
backpack. Yeah,
backpack.
exactly.
Like-
like it's a turkey.
Those Yukon moose, I mean, they're like shooting 4 bull elk at once. Like, it's...
Just insane.
I can generally get an elk like caped, deboned, in the pack in like a couple hours.
Yeah.
And I think I had 10 hours in just getting that moose ready to pack out.
Damn.
It's insane.
Yeah. And at that point, like, I mean, there's nothing around to like tie to or
Yeah.
winch
And
to.
all
I was
There's-
gonna say that it's kind of a fun.
You're like in it, like the
Yeah.
quarter's laying on
on
top
your
of you
head.
while
Yeah.
you're trying to cut it out. Like there is no
Yeah.
not getting in it.
Yeah.
You're talking quarters that weigh more than I do.
Yeah.
Than my body weight.
Yeah.
It's quite an ordeal.
Yeah.
No.
I could see that being a quite a challenge.
I have like almost like I have a picture of me in the bull, but I have zero documentation of like packing that out.
Yeah, because it was a suffer
It's
fest.
just
You're not going to
2
pull
days
out your
straight
phone.
of
Yeah.
non-stop
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
work.
But then you get done and you're just like, wow, I actually pulled that off.
Yeah,
you know?
I remember Casey talking about that, and I'm like, it's insane. It's insane. So yeah, get on some big Lakers with Seth here. Get on some kokanee, some trout. Do river fishing. I mean, basically anything outdoors, you can hook them up.
Yep.
Okay. You can find them Sportfish Colorado and Alpine Outfitters on Instagram, right?
Yep. Alpine Outfitters, Colorado.
Alpine Outfitters Colorado.
There's another Alpine Outfitters in New Zealand, evidently. So we got to put the Colorado in there.
Okay, sounds good. Well, we really appreciate you coming on,
thanks,
Seth.
guys.
That was
really fun.
That was we didn't even get to cover. We kind of bounced around from place to place.
Kind of sporadic. I was thinking of a few other stories I wouldn't mind telling, but yeah.
We'll get you back on here for sure.
This is
really fun.
Yeah, we can't cover this all in one. Same thing with like Hunter and everything. It's like everybody we've had on so far, we're like, yeah, we need to have you back on because there's more stories I want to hear.
It's more like the introduction.
Yeah, but at least everybody gets an idea of how crazy this guy is. All right, guys. Well, thanks. That's all for us here, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.